Numbers, chapter 1, the census. The Lord spoke to Moses in the tent of meeting in the desert of Sinai on the first day of the second month of the second year after the Israelites came out of Egypt. He said, "Take a census of the whole Israelite community by their clans and families, listing every man by name one by one. You and Aaron are to number by their divisions all the men in Israel 20 years old or more who are able to serve in the army. One man from each tribe, each the head of his family, is to help you. These are the names of the men who are to assist you. From Reuben, Elazar, son of Shadur. From Simeon, Shelomiel, son of Zurishaddai. From Judah, Nashon, son of Amminadab. From Issachar, Nethanel, son of Zuar. From Zebulun, Eliab, son of Helon. From the sons of Joseph, from Ephraim, Elishama, son of Ammihud. From Manasseh, Gamaliel, son of Pedazur. From Benjamin, Abidan, son of Gideoni. From Dan, Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai. From Asher, Pagiel, son of Ochran. From Gad, Eliasaph, son of Duel. From Naphtali, Ahira, son of Enan. These were the men appointed from the community, the leaders of their ancestral tribes. They were the heads of the clans of Israel. Moses and Aaron took these men whose names had been given, and they called the whole community together on the first day of the second month. The people indicated their ancestry by their clans and families, and the men 20 years old or more were listed by name, one by one, as the Lord commanded Moses. And so he counted them in the desert of Sinai. From the descendants of Reuben, the firstborn son of Israel, all men 20 years old or more who were able to serve in the army were listed by name, one by one, according to the records of their clans and families. The number from the tribe of Reuben was 46,500. From the descendants of Simeon, all the men 20 years old or more who were able to serve in the army were counted and listed by name, one by one, according to the records of their clans and families. The number from the tribe of Simeon was 59,300. From the descendants of Gad, all the men 20 years old or more who were able to serve in the army were listed by name, according to the records of their clans and families. The number from the tribe of Gad was 45,650. From the descendants of Judah, all the men 20 years old or more who were able to serve in the army were listed by name, according to the records of their clans and families. The number from the tribe of Judah was 74,600. From the descendants of Issachar, all the men 20 years old or more who were able to serve in the army were listed by name, according to the records of their clans and families. The number from the tribe of Issachar was 54,400. From the descendants of Zebulun, all the men 20 years old or more who were able to serve in the army were listed by name, according to the records of their clans and families. The number from the tribe of Zebulun was 57,400. From the sons of Joseph, from the descendants of Ephraim, all the men 20 years old or more who were able to serve in the army were listed by name, according to the records of their clans and families. The number from the tribe of Ephraim was 40,500. From the descendants of Manasseh, all the men 20 years old or more who were able to serve in the army were listed by name, according to the records of their clans and families. The number from the tribe of Manasseh was 32,200. From the descendants of Benjamin, all the men 20 years old or more who were able to serve in the army were listed by name, according to the records of their clans and families. The number from the tribe of Benjamin was 35,400. From the descendants of Dan, all the men 20 years old or more who were able to serve in the army were listed by name according to the records of their clans and families. The number from the tribe of Dan was 62,700. From the descendants of Asher, all the men 20 years old or more who were able to serve in the army were listed by name according to the records of their clans and families. The number from the tribe of Asher was 41,500. From the descendants of Naphtali, all the men 20 years old or more who were able to serve in the army were listed by name according to the records of their clans and families. The number from the tribe of Naphtali was 53,400. These were the men counted by Moses and Aaron and the 12 leaders of Israel, each one representing his family. All the Israelites 20 years old or more who were able to serve in Israel's army were counted according to their families. The total number was 603,550. The families of the tribe of Levi, however, were not counted along with the others. The Lord had said to Moses, "You must not count the tribe of Levi or include them in the census of the other Israelites. Instead, appoint the Levites to be in charge of the tabernacle of the testimony, over all its furnishings and everything belonging to it. They are to carry the tabernacle and all its furnishings. They are to take care of it and encamp around it. Whenever the tabernacle is to move, the Levites are to take it down, and whenever the tabernacle is to be set up, the Levites shall do it. Anyone else who goes near it shall be put to death. The Israelites are to set up their tents by divisions, each man in his own camp under his own standard. The Levites, however, are to set up their tents around the tabernacle of the testimony, so the wrath will not fall on unity. The Levites are to be responsible for the care of the tabernacle of the testimony. The Israelites did all this just as the Lord commanded Moses. Numbers chapter 2, the arrangement of the tribal camps. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "The Israelites are to camp around the tent of meeting some distance from it, each man under his standard with the banners of his family. Of Judah are to encamp under their standard. The leader of the people of Judah is Nahshon, son of Amminadab. His division numbers 74,600. The tribe of Issachar will camp next to them. The leader of the people of Issachar is Nathanael, son of Zuar. His division numbers 54,400. The tribe of Zebulun will be next. The leader of the people of Zebulun is Eliab, son of Helon. His division numbers 57,400. All the men assigned to the camp of Judah, according to their divisions, number 186,400. They will set out first. On the south will be the divisions of the camp of Reuben under their standard. The leader of the people of Reuben is Elizur, son of Shadur. His division numbers 46,500. The tribe of Simeon will camp next to them. The leader of the people of Simeon is Shelumiel, son of Zurishaddai. His division numbers 59,300. The tribe of Gad will be next. The leader of the people of Gad is Eliasaph, son of Duel. His division numbers 45,650. All the men assigned to the camp of Reuben, according to their divisions, number 151,450. They will set out second. Then the tent of meeting and the camp of the Levites will set out in the middle of the camps. They will set out in the same order as they encamp, each in his own place under his standard. On the west will be the divisions of the camp of Ephraim under their standard. The leader of the people of Ephraim is Elishama, son of Ammihud. His division numbers 40,500. The tribe of Manasseh will be next to them. The leader of the people of Manasseh is Gamaliel, son of Pedazur. His division numbers 32,200. The tribe of Benjamin will be next. The leader of the people of Benjamin is Abidan, son of Gideoni. His division numbers 35,400. All the men assigned to the camp of Ephraim, according to their divisions, number 108,100. They will set out third. On the north will be the divisions of the camp of Dan under their standard. The leader of the people of Dan is Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai. His division numbers 62,700. The tribe of Asher will camp next to them. The leader of the people of Asher is Pagiel, son of Ochran. His division numbers 41,500. The tribe of Naphtali will be next. The leader of the people of Naphtali is Ahira, son of Enan. His division numbers 53,400. All the men assigned to the camp of Dan number 157,600. They will set out last under their standards. These are the Israelites counted according to their families. All those in the camps by their divisions number 603,550. The Levites, however, were not counted along with the other Israelites as the Lord commanded Moses. So the Israelites did everything the Lord commanded Moses. That is the way they encamped under their standards, and that is the way they set out, each with his clan and family.
Numbers chapter 3. This is the account of the family of Aaron and Moses at the time the Lord talked with Moses on Mount Sinai. The names of the sons of Aaron were Nadab the firstborn, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. These were the names of Aaron's sons, the anointed priests, who were ordained to serve as priests. Nadab and Abihu, however, fell dead before the Lord when they made an offering with unauthorized fire before him in the desert of Sinai. They had no sons, so only Eleazar and Ithamar served as priests during the lifetime of their father Aaron. The Lord said to Moses, "Bring the tribe of Levi and present them to Aaron and the priest to assist him. They are to perform duties for him and for the whole community at the tent of meeting by doing the work of the tabernacle. They are to take care of all the furnishings of the tent of meeting, fulfilling the obligations of the Israelites by doing the work of the tabernacle. Give the Levites to Aaron and his sons. They are the Israelites who are to be given wholly to him. Appoint Aaron and his sons to serve as priests. Anyone else who approaches the sanctuary must be put to death." The Lord also said to Moses, "I have taken the Levites from among the Israelites in place of the first male offspring of every Israelite woman. The Levites are mine, for all the firstborn are mine. When I struck down all the firstborn in Egypt, I set apart for myself every firstborn in Israel, whether man or animal. They are to be mine. I am the Lord." The Lord said to Moses in the desert of Sinai, "Count the Levites by their families and clans. Count every male a month old or more." So Moses counted them as he was commanded by the word of the Lord. These were the names of the sons of Levi: Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. These were the names of Gershonite clans: Libni and Shimei. The Kohathite clans: Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uzziel. The Merarite clans: Mali and Mushi. These were the Levite clans according to their families. To Gershon belonged the clans of the Libnites and Shimeites. These were the Gershonite clans. The number of all the males a month old or more who were counted was 7,500. The Gershonite clans were to camp on the west behind the tabernacle. The leader of the families of the Gershonites was Elisaph, son of Lael. At the tent of meeting, the Gershonites were responsible for the care of the tabernacle and tent, its coverings, the curtain at the entrance to the tent of meeting, the curtains of the courtyard, the curtain at the entrance to the courtyard surrounding the tabernacle and altar, and the ropes and everything related to their use. The Kohath belonged the clans of the Amorites, Israelites, Hebronites, and Uzzielites. These were the Kohathite clans. The number of all the males a month old or more was 8,600. The Kohathites were responsible for the care of the sanctuary. The Kohathite clans were to camp on the south side of the tabernacle. The leader of the families of the Kohathite clans was Elizaphan, son of Uziel. They were responsible for the care of the ark, the table, the lampstand, the altars, the articles of the sanctuary, used in ministering, the curtain, and everything related to their use. The chief leader of the Levites was Eleazar, son of Aaron, the priest. He was appointed over those who were responsible for the care of the sanctuary. To Merari belonged the clans of the Mahlites and the Mushites. These were the Merarite clans. The number of all the males a month old or more who were counted was 6,200. The leader of the families of the Merarite clan was Zeriel, son of Abihail. They were to camp on the north side of the tabernacle. The Merarites were appointed to take care of the frames of the tabernacle, its crossbars, posts, bases, all its equipment, and everything related to their use, as well as the posts of the surrounding courtyard with their bases, tent pegs, and ropes. Moses and Aaron and his sons were to camp to the east of the tabernacle, toward the sunrise, in front of the tent of meeting. They were responsible for the care of the sanctuary on behalf of the Israelites. Anyone who approached the sanctuary was to be put to death. The total number of Levites counted, as the Lord commanded by Moses and Aaron, according to their clans and including every male a month or old or more, was 22,000. The Lord said to Moses, "Count all the firstborn Israelite males who are a month or old or more and make a list of their names. Take the Levites for me in place of all the firstborn of the Israelites, and the livestock of the Levites in place of all the firstborn of the livestock of the Israelites. I am the Lord." So Moses counted all the firstborn of the Israelites as the Lord commanded him. The total number of firstborn males, a month old or more, listed by name, was 22,273. The Lord also said to Moses, "Take the Levites in place of all the firstborn of Israel, and the livestock of the Levites in place of their livestock. The Levites are to be mine. I am the Lord. To redeem the 273 firstborn Israelites who exceed the number of the Levites, collect 5 shekels for each one, according to the sanctuary shekel, which weighs 20 gerahs. Give the money for the redemption of the additional Israelites to Aaron and his sons." So Moses collected the redemption money from those who exceeded the number redeemed by the Levites. From the firstborn of the Israelites, he collected silver weighing 1,365 shekels, according to the sanctuary shekel. Moses gave redemption money to Aaron and his sons, as he was commanded by the word of the Lord.
Then the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, "Take a census of the sons of Kohath from among the children of Levi by their families, by their father's house, from 30 years old and above, even to 50 years old, all who enter the service to do the work in the tabernacle of meeting. This is the service of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle of meeting, relating to the most holy things. When the camp prepares to journey, Aaron and his sons shall come, and they shall take down the covering veil and cover the ark of the testimony with it. Then they shall put on it a covering of badger skins, and spread over that a cloth entirely of blue. They shall insert its poles. On the tabernacle of showbread, they shall spread a blue cloth, and put on it the dishes, the pans, the bowls, and the pitchers of pouring, and the showbread shall be on it. They shall spread over them a scarlet cloth, and cover the same with a covering of badger skins. They shall insert its poles, And they shall take a blue cloth and cover the lampstand of the light, and with the lamps, its wick trimmers, its trays, and all its oil vessels with which they serve it. Then they shall put it with all its utensils and it in a covering of badger skins, and put it on a carrying beam. Over the golden altar they shall spread a blue cloth and cover it with the covering of badger skins, and they shall insert its poles. Then they shall take all the utensils of service with which they minister in the sanctuary, put them in a blue cloth, cover them with a covering of badger skins, and put them on a carrying beam. Also, they shall take away the ashes from the altar and spread a purple cloth over it. They shall put on it all its implements with which they minister there, the fire pans, the forks, the shovels, the basins, and all the utensils of the altar. They shall spread on it a covering of badger skins and insert its poles. Then, when Aaron and his sons have finished covering the sanctuary and all the furnishings of the sanctuary, when the camp is set to go, then the sons of Kohath shall come to carry them. But they shall not touch any holy thing, lest they die. These are the things in the tabernacle of meeting, which the sons of Kohath are to carry. The appointed duty of Eleazar and the son of Aaron, the priest, is the oil for the light, the sweet incense, the daily grain offering, the anointing oil, the oversight of all the tabernacle, of all that is in it, with the sanctuary and its furnishings. Then the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, do not cut off the tribe of the families of the Kohathites from among the Levites, but do this in regard to them, they that they may live and not die when they approach the most holy things. Aaron and his sons shall go in and appoint each of them to his service and his task, but they shall not go in to watch while the holy things are being covered, lest they die. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, also take a census of the sons of Gershon by their father's house, by their families, from 30 years old and above, even to 50 years old. You shall number them, all who enter to perform the service, to do the work in the tabernacle of meeting. This is the service of the families of the Gershonites in serving and carrying. They shall carry the curtains of the tabernacle and the tabernacle of meeting with its covering, the covering of badger skin that is on it, the screen for the door of the tabernacle of meeting, the screen for the door of the gate of the court, the hangings of the court, which are around the tabernacle and altar, their cords and all the furnishings for their service, and all that is made for these things, so shall they serve. Aaron and his sons shall assign the service of the sons of the Gershonites, all their task and all their service, and you shall appoint to them all the tasks as their duty. This is the service of the families of the sons of Gershon in the tabernacle of meeting, and their duties shall be under the authority of Ithamar, the son of Aaron, the priest. As for the sons of Merari, you shall number them by their families and their father's house, from 30 years old and above, even to 50 years old. You shall number them, everyone who enters the service to do the work of the tabernacle of meeting. And this is what they must carry as all their service for the tabernacle of meeting. The boards of the tabernacle, its bars, its pillars, its sockets, and the pillars around the court with their sockets, pegs, and cords, with all their furnishings and all their service. You shall assign each man by name the item he must carry. This is the service of the families of the sons of Merari, as all their service for the tabernacle of meeting under the authority of Ithamar, the son of Aaron, the priest. And Moses, Aaron, and the leaders of the congregation numbered by the sons of the Kohathites by their families and their father's house, from 30 years old and above, even to 50 years old. Everyone who entered the service for work in the tabernacle of meeting, and those who were numbered by their families were 2,750. These were the ones who were numbered of the families of the Kohathites, all who might serve in the tabernacle of meeting, whom Moses and Aaron numbered according to the commandments of the Lord by the hand of Moses. And those were numbered of the sons of Gershon by their families and by their father's house, from 30 years old and above, even to 50 years old. Everyone entered the service for the work in the tabernacle of meeting. Those who were numbered by their families and by their father's house were 2,630. These are the ones who were numbered of the families of sons of Gershon, and all who might serve in the tabernacle of meeting, whom Moses and Aaron numbered according to the commandment of the Lord. Those of the families of the sons of Merari, who were numbered by their families and by their fathers' houses, from 30 years old and above, even to 50 years old. Everyone who entered the service for work in the tabernacle of meeting. Those who were numbered by their families were 3,200. These are the ones who were numbered of the families of the son of Merari, who Moses and Aaron numbered according to the word of the Lord by hand of Moses. All who were numbered of the Levites, whom Moses, Aaron, and the leaders of Israel numbered by their families and by their fathers' houses, from 30 years old and above, even to 50 years old, everyone who came to do work of service and the work of bearing burdens in the tabernacle of meeting. Those who were numbered were 8,580. According to the commandments of the Lord, they were numbered by the hand of Moses, each according to his service and according to his task. Thus were they numbered by him, as the Lord commanded Moses.
సంఖ్యాకాండము 5వ అధ్యాయము. మరియు యెహోవా మోషేకు ఇలాగు సెలవిచ్చెను, ప్రతి కుష్ఠరోగిని, స్రావము గల ప్రతి వానిని, శవము ముట్టుట వలన అపవిత్రుడైన ప్రతి వానిని పాళెములో నుండి వెలివేయవలెనని ఇశ్రాయేలీయులకు ఆజ్ఞాపించుము. నేను నివసించుచుండు వారి పాళెమును వారు అపవిత్రపరచుకుండునట్లు మగవానినేమి ఆడుదానినేమి అందరినీ పంపివేయవలెను. వారిని ఆ పాళెము వెలుపలికి వెళ్ళగొట్టవలెను. ఇశ్రాయేలీయులు అలాగు చేసిరి. పాళెము వెలుపలికి అట్టి వారిని వెళ్ళగొట్టిరి. యెహోవా మోషేకు ఆజ్ఞాపించినట్లు ఇశ్రాయేలీయులు చేసిరి. మరియు యెహోవా మోషేకు ఇలాగు సెలవిచ్చెను, నీవు ఇశ్రాయేలీయులతో పురుషుడు గాని స్త్రీని గాని యెహోవా మీద తిరగబడి మనుషులు చేయు పాపములలో దేనినైనను చేసి అపరాధులగునప్పుడు వారు తాము చేసిన పాపములను ఒప్పుకొనవలెను. మరియు వారు తమ అపరాధముల వలన నష్టమును సరిగా ఇచ్చుకొని దానిలో 5వ వంతు దానితో కలిపి ఎవనికి విరోధముగా అపరాధము చేసిరో వానికి ఇచ్చుకొనవలెను. ఆ అపరాధమును నష్టమును తీసుకొనుటకు ఆ మనుషునికి రక్త సంబంధి లేని ఎడల యెహోవాకు చెల్లింపవలసిన అపరాధ నష్టమును యాజకుడు వాని నిమిత్తము ప్రాయశ్చిత్తము చేయుటకై అర్పించిన ప్రాయశ్చిత్తార్థమైన పొట్టేలును యాజకుని వగును. ఇశ్రాయేలీయులు యాజకునికి తెచ్చు ప్రతిష్ఠితమైన వాటన్నిటిలో ప్రతిష్ఠించబడిన ప్రతి వస్తువు యాజకుని వగును. ఎవడైనను ప్రతిష్ఠించినవి అతని వగును. ఎవడైనను యాజకునికి ఏమైనను ఇచ్చిన యెడల అది అతని దగునని చెప్పెను. యెహోవా మోషేకు ఇలాగు సెలవిచ్చెను, నీవు ఇశ్రాయేలీయులతో ఇట్లనుము, ఒకని భార్య త్రోవ తప్పి వానికి ద్రోహము చేసిన ఎడల, అనగా వేరొకడు ఆమెతో వీర్యస్ఖలనముగా శయనించిన ఎడల, ఆమె భర్త ఆ సంగతి తెలియబడక వాని కన్నులకు మరుగైయుండి ఆమె అపవిత్రపరచబడిందనుటకు సాక్ష్యం లేకపోయినను, ఆమె పట్టుబడకపోయినను, వారి మనసులో రోషము పుట్టి అపవిత్రపరచబడిన తన భార్య మీద కోపపడిన ఎడల, లేక వాని మనసులో రోషము పుట్టిన అపవిత్రపరచబడిన తన భార్య మీద కోపపడిన ఎడల, ఆ పురుషుడు యాజకుని యొద్దకు తన భార్యను తీసుకుని వచ్చి ఆమె విషయము తూమెడు యావల పిండిలో 10వ వంతు తేవలెను. వాడు దాని మీద తైలము పోయకూడదు, దాని మీద సాంబ్రాణి వేయకూడదు. ఎలయనగా అది రోష విషయమై అయిన నైవేద్యము, అనగా దోషమును జ్ఞాపకము చేయుటకై జ్ఞాపకార్థమైన నైవేద్యము. అప్పుడు యాజకుడు ఆమె దగ్గరకు తీసుకుని వచ్చిన యెహోవా సన్నిధిని ఆమె నిలవబెట్టవలెను. తరువాత యాజకుడు మంటికుండతో పరిశుద్ధమైన నీళ్లు తీసుకొనవలెను. మరియు యాజకుడు మందిరములో నేలనున్న ధూళిని కొంచెము తీసుకుని ఆ నీళ్లలో వేయవలెను. తరువాత యాజకుడు యెహోవా సన్నిధిన ఆ స్త్రీని నిలవబెట్టి ఆ స్త్రీ తల ముసుగు తీసి రోష విషయమైన నైవేద్యమును, అనగా జ్ఞాపకార్థమైన నైవేద్యమును ఆమె చేతిలో ఉంచవలెను. శాపము పొందిన చేదు నీళ్లు యాజకుని చేతిలో ఉండవలెను. అప్పుడు యాజకుడు ఆ స్త్రీ చేత ప్రమాణము చేయించి ఆమెతో చెప్పవలసిందేమనగా, ఏ పురుషుడును నీతో శయనింపని ఎడల నీవు నీ భర్తకు ఆధీనురాలవైనప్పుడు నీవు త్రప్పిపోయి అపవిత్రమైన కార్యము చేయకపోయిన ఎడల శాపము కలుగజేయు ఈ చేదు నీళ్ల నుండి నిర్దోషివి కమ్ము. నీవు నీ భర్తకు ఆధీనురాలవైనప్పుడు నీవు త్రోవ తప్పి అపవిత్రపరచబడిన ఎడల, అనగా నీ భర్తకు మారుగా వేరొక పురుషుడు నీతో కూటమి చేసిన ఎడల, యెహోవా నీ నడుము పడినట్లు నీ కడుపు ఉబ్బినట్లు చేయటం వలన యెహోవా నీ జనుల మధ్య నిన్ను శపథమునకు ప్రమాణమునకు ఆస్పదముగా చేయునుగాక. శాపము కలుగజేయు ఈ నీళ్లు నీ కడుపు ఉబ్బినట్లు నీ నడుము పడినట్లు చేయుటకు నీ కడుపులోనికి పోవునని చెప్పి యాజకుడు ఆ స్త్రీ చేత శపథ ప్రమాణము చేయించిన తరువాత ఆ స్త్రీ ఆమెన్ అని చెప్పవలెను. తరువాత యాజకుడు పత్రము మీద ఆ శపథములను రాసి ఆ చేదు నీళ్లతో వాటిని తుడిచి శాపము కలుగజేయు ఆ చేదు నీళ్లను ఆ స్త్రీకి త్రాగింపవలెను. శాపము కలుగజేయు ఆ నీళ్లు ఆమె లోనికి చేదు పుట్టించును. మరియు యాజకుడు ఆ స్త్రీ చేతి నుండి దోష విషయమైన ఆ నైవేద్యమును తీసుకుని యెహోవా సన్నిధిన ఆ నైవేద్యమును అల్లాడించి బలిపీఠం వద్దకు దానిని తేవలను. తరువాత యాజకుడు దానికి జ్ఞాపకార్థమైనదిగా ఆ నైవేద్యములో నుండి పిడికెడు తీసి బలిపీఠం మీద దాన్ని దహించి ఆ నీళ్లు ఆ స్త్రీకి తాగింపవలెను. అతడు ఆమెకు ఆ నీళ్లు త్రాగించిన తరువాత జరుగునదేదనగా, ఆమె అపవిత్ర పరపబడి తన భర్తకు ద్రోహము చేసిన ఎడల శాపం కలుగజేయు ఆ నీళ్లు చేదై ఆమెలోనికి చేరి తరువాత ఆమె కడుపు ఊపును, ఆమె నడుము పడిపోవును. ఆ స్త్రీ తన జనుల మధ్య శాపముకు ఆస్పదముగా ఉండును. ఆ స్త్రీ అపవిత్ర పడక పవిత్రురాలై ఉండిన ఎడల ఆమె నిర్దోషి గర్భవతి యొగునని చెప్పుము. రోషవిషయమైన విధి ఇదే: ఏ స్త్రీ అయినను తన భర్త ఆధీనములలో ఉన్నప్పుడు త్రోవ తప్పి అపవిత్రపడిన ఎడలనేమి, లేక వారి రోషము పుట్టిన తన భార్య మీద కోపపడిన ఎడలనేమి, వాడు యెహోవా సన్నిధిన ఆ స్త్రీని నిలవబెట్టినప్పుడు యాజకుడు ఆమె ఎడల సమస్తము విధి చొప్పున చేయవలెను. అప్పుడు ఆ పురుషుడు నిర్దోషియగును, ఆ స్త్రీ తాను చేసిన దోషమును భరింపవలెను. 6వ అధ్యాయం. మరియు యెహోవా మోషేకు ఇలాగు సెలవిచ్చెను: నీవు ఇశ్రాయేలీయులతో ఇట్లనుము, పురుషుడే గాని స్త్రీయే గాని యెహోవాకు నాజీరగుటకు ఎవరైనను మొక్కుకుని తన్ను తాను ప్రత్యేకించుకుని ఎడల వాడు ద్రాక్షరసమును మద్యములను మానవలెను. ద్రాక్షరసము చిరకనైనను మద్యపు చిరకనైనను త్రాగవలదు. ఏ ద్రాక్షరసమైనను త్రాగవలదు. పచ్చివి గాని ఎండినవి గాని ద్రాక్ష పండ్లను తినవలదు. అతడు ప్రత్యేకముగా నుండు దినములన్నీయు పచ్చి కాయలే గాని పైతోలు లేని గాని ద్రాక్షవల్లిని పుట్టినదేదియు తినవలదు. అతడు నాజీరగుటకు మొక్కుకొనిన దినములన్నిటిలో మంగళ కత్తి అతని తల మీద వేయవలదు. అతడు యెహోవాకు తన్ను తాను ప్రత్యేకించుకుని దినములను నెరవేరు వరకు అతడు ప్రతిష్ఠితుడై తన తల వెంట్రుకలను ఎదగనీయవలెను. అతడు యెహోవాకు ప్రత్యేకముగా నుండి దినములన్నిటిలో ఏ శవమును ముట్టవలదు. తన దేవునికి మీద కట్టబడిన తల వెంట్రుకలు తన తల మీద నుండును గనుక అతని తండ్రి గాని తల్లి గాని సహోదరుడు గాని సహోదరి గాని చనిపోయినను వారిని బట్టి అతడు తన్ను తాను అపవిత్రపరుచుకొనవలదు. అతడు ప్రత్యేకముగా ఉండు దినములన్నీయు అతడు యెహోవాకు ప్రతిష్ఠితుడిగా ఉండును. ఒకడు అతని యొద్ద హఠాత్తుగా చనిపోవటం వలన ప్రత్యేకంగా ఉండ వాని తల అపవిత్రపరచబడిన ఎడల అతడు పవిత్రపరపబడును. దినమున అనగా 7వ దినమున తన తల గొరిగించుకొనవలెను. 8వ దినమున అతడు 2 తెల్లగువ్వలనైనను 2 పౌరపు పిల్లలనైనను ప్రత్యక్ష గుడారము యొక్క ద్వారం వద్దకు ఉన్న యాజకుని చెద్దకు తేవలెను. అప్పుడు యాజకుడు ఒకదానితో పాపపరిహారార్థ బలులను 2వ దానితో దహన బలులను అర్పించి, వాడు శవం ముట్టుట వలన పాపైనందున వాని నిమిత్తము ప్రాయశ్చిత్తము చేసి ఆ దినమున వాని తలను పరిశుద్ధపరపవలెను. మరియు తాను ప్రత్యేకముగా ఉండు దినములను మరలా యెహోవాకు ప్రత్యేకించుకుని అపరాధ పరిహారార్థ బలిగా ఏడాది గొర్రెపిల్లను తీసుకుని రావలెను. తన వ్రత సంబంధమైన తల వెంట్రుకలు అపవిత్రపరపబడిన గనుక మునుపటి దినములు వ్యర్థమైనవి. నాజీరు ప్రత్యేకముగా ఉండు దినముల నుండి తరువాతి వానిని గూర్చి విధి ఏదనగా, ప్రత్యక్ష గుడారమును యొక్క ద్వారం వద్ద వానిని తీసుకుని రావలెను. అప్పుడతడు ధాన్య బలిగాను నిర్దోషమైన ఏడాది మగ గొర్రె పిల్లను, పాపపరిహారార్థ బలిగాను నిర్దోషమైన ఏడాది ఆడుగొర్రె పిల్లను, సమాధాన బలిగా నిర్దోషి అయిన ఒక పొట్టేలును, గంపెడు పొంగని పిండి అనగా గోధుమ పిండి వంటల నూనె కలపని గోధుమ పిండితో చేసిన భక్ష్యములను, నూనె పూసిన పొంగని పూరీలను, వాటి నైవేద్యములను పానార్పణములను అర్పణముగా యెహోవా వద్దకు తేవలెను. అప్పుడు యాజకుడు యెహోవా సన్నిధికి వాటిని తెచ్చి అతని నిమిత్తము పాప పరిహారార్థ బలిని దహన బలిని అర్పింపవలెను. యాజకుడు ఆ గంపెడు పొంగని భక్ష్యములతో ఆ పొట్టేలును యెహోవాకు సమాధాన బలిగా అర్పింపవలెను. వాని నైవేద్యము వాని పానార్పణను అర్పింపవలెను. అప్పుడు నాజీరు ప్రత్యక్ష గుడారము యొక్క ద్వారము వద్ద తన వ్రత సంబంధమైన తల వెంట్రుకలను గొరిగించుకొని వ్రత సంబంధమైన తల వెంట్రుకలను తీసుకొని సమాధాన బలి ద్రవ్యము క్రిందనున్న అగ్నిలో వేయవలెను. మరియు యాజకుడు ఆ పొట్టేలు యొక్క వండిన జబ్బను ఆ గంపలో నుండి పొంగని యొక్క భక్ష్యమును పొంగని యొక్క పూరిని తీసుకుని నాజీరు తన వ్రత సంబంధమైన వెంట్రుకలు గొరిగించుకుని పిమ్మట అతని చేతుల మీద వాటిని ఉంచవలెను. తరువాత యాజకుడు యెహోవా సన్నిధిని అల్లాడింపబడు అర్పణముగా వాటిని అల్లాడింపవలెను. అల్లాడింపబడు బోరాతోను ప్రతిష్ఠితమైన జబ్బతోను అది యాజకునికి ప్రతిష్ఠితమగును. తరువాత ఆ నాజీరు ద్రాక్షరసము త్రాగవచ్చును. మొక్కుకునిన నాజీరు తన కలిమి కొలది ఇచ్చు దానిని గూర్చి విధియు, అతడు నాజీరై ఉన్నందున యెహోవాకు అర్పింపవలసిన దానిని గూర్చి విధియు ఇదే. తాను మొక్కుకునిన మొక్కుబడి చొప్పున నాజీరును గూర్చిన విధిని బట్టి ఇదంతయు చేయవలెనని చెప్పెను. యెహోవా మోషేకు ఇలాగు సెలవిచ్చెను, నీవు అహరోనుతోనూ అతని కుమారులతోనూ ఇలాగనుము, మీరు ఇశ్రాయేలీయులను ఇలాగు దీవింపవలెను. యెహోవా నిన్ను ఆశీర్వదించి నిన్ను కాపాడునుగాక. యెహోవా నీకు తన సన్నిధిని ప్రకాశింపచేసి నిన్ను కరుణించునుగాక. యెహోవా నీ మీద తన సన్నిధి కాంతి ఉదయింపజేసి నీకు సమాధానము కలుగచేయునుగాక. అట్లు వారు ఇశ్రాయేలీయుల మీద నా నామమును ఉచ్చరించుట వలన నేను వారిని ఆశీర్వదించెదను. ఆమేన్. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Lorsque Moïse eut achevé de dresser la table, le tabernacle, il l'oignit et le sanctifia avec tous ses ustensiles. De même que l'autel, avec tous ses ustensiles, il les oignit et les sanctifia. Alors les princes d'Israël, chefs des maisons de leurs pères, présentèrent leur offrande. C'étaient des princes des tribus, ceux qui avaient présidé au dénombrement. Ils amenèrent leurs offrandes devant l'Éternel, 6 chars en forme de litière et 12 bœufs, soit un char pour 2 princes et un bœuf pour chaque prince. Et ils les offrirent devant le tabernacle. L'Éternel parla à Moïse et dit, « Prends de ces choses, afin de les employer pour le service de la tente d'assignation. Tu les donneras aux Lévites, à chacun selon ses fonctions. » Moïse prit les chars et les bœufs et les remit aux Lévites. Il donna 2 chars et 4 bœufs aux fils de Gershon, selon leurs fonctions. Il donna 4 chars et 8 bœufs aux fils de Merari, selon leurs fonctions, sous la conduite d'Ithamar, fils du sacrificateur Aaron. Mais il n'en donna point aux fils de Kehat, parce que, selon leurs fonctions, ils devaient porter les choses saintes sur les épaules. Les princes présentèrent leur offrande pour la dédicace de l'autel. Le jour où l'on l'oignit, les princes présentèrent leur offrande devant l'autel. L'Éternel dit à Moïse, « Les princes viendront un à un et à des jours différents présenter leur offrande pour la dédicace de l'autel. » Celui qui présenta son offrande le premier jour fut Nachon, fils d'Aminadab, de la tribu de Juda. Il offrit un plat d'argent du poids de 130 cycles, un bassin d'argent de 70 cycles, selon le cycle du sanctuaire, tous 2 pleins de fleurs de farine pétrie à l'huile pour l'offrande, une coupe d'or de 10 cycles, pleine de parfums, un jeune taureau, un bélier, un agneau d'1 an pour l'holocauste, un bouc pour le sacrifice d'expiation, et pour le sacrifice d'action de grâce, 2 bœufs, 5 béliers, 5 boucs, 5 agneaux d'1 an. Telle fut l'offrande de Nachon, fils d'Aminadab. Le 2e jour, Nethanil, fils de Tsuar, prince d'Issachar, présenta son offrande. Il offrit un plat d'argent du poids de 130 cycles, un bassin d'argent de 70 cycles, selon le cycle du sanctuaire, tous 2 pleins de fleurs de farine pétrie à l'huile pour l'offrande, une coupe d'or de 10 cycles, pleine de parfums, un jeune taureau, un bélier, un agneau d'1 an pour l'holocauste, un bouc pour le sacrifice d'expiation, et pour le sacrifice d'action de grâce, 2 bœufs, 5 béliers, 5 boucs, 5 agneaux d'un an. Telle fut l'offrande de Nethanil, fils de Tsuar. Le troisième jour, le prince des fils de Zabulon, Eliab, fils de Hélon, offrit un plat d'argent du poids de 130 cycles, un bassin d'argent de 70 cycles, selon le cycle du sanctuaire, tous deux pleins de fleurs, de farine, pétrie à l'huile, pour l'offrande. Une coupe d'or de 10 cycles, pleine de parfums, un jeune taureau, un bélier, un agneau d'un an pour l'holocauste, un bouc pour le sacrifice d'expiation, et, pour le sacrifice d'action de grâce, 2 bœufs, 5 béliers, 5 boucs, 5 agneaux d'un an. Telle fut l'offrande d'Eliab, fils de Hélon. Le quatrième jour, le prince des fils de Ruben, Élitsur, fils de Shedeur, offrit un plat d'argent du poids de 130 cycles, un bassin d'argent de 70 cycles, selon le cycle du sanctuaire, tous deux pleins de fleurs, de farine pétrie à l'huile pour l'offrande. Une coupe de 10 cycles, pleine de parfums, un jeune taureau, un bélier, un agneau d'un an pour l'holocauste, un bouc pour le sacrifice d'expiation, et, pour le sacrifice d'action de grâce, 2 bœufs, 5 béliers, 5 boucs, 5 agneaux d'un an. Telle fut l'offrande d'Élitsur, fils de Shedeur. Le cinquième jour, le prince des fils de Siméon, Shelumiel, fils de Tsurashadai, offrit un plat d'argent du poids de 130 cycles, un bassin d'argent de 70 cycles selon le cycle du sanctuaire, tous deux pleins de fleurs de farine pétrie à l'huile pour l'offrande. Une coupe d'or de 10 cycles pleine de parfums, un jeune taureau, un bélier, un agneau d'un an pour l'holocauste, un bouc pour le sacrifice d'expiation et pour le sacrifice d'action de grâce, 2 bœufs, 5 béliers, 5 boucs, 5 agneaux d'un an. Telle fut l'offrande de Shelumiel, fils de Tsuri Shaddai. Le sixième jour, le prince des fils de Gad, Eliasaph, fils de Deuel, offrit un plat d'argent du poids de 130 cycles, un bassin d'argent de 70 cycles selon le cycle du sanctuaire, tous deux pleins de fleurs de farine pétrie à l'huile pour l'offrande. Une coupe d'or de 10 cycles pleine de parfums, un jeune taureau, un bélier, un agneau d'un an pour l'holocauste, un bouc pour le sacrifice d'expiation, et pour le sacrifice d'action de grâce, 2 bœufs, 5 béliers, 5 boucs, 5 agneaux d'un an, telle fut l'offrande d'Eliasaph, fils de Deuel. Le septième jour, le prince des fils d'Éphraïm, Élishama, fils d'Amihud, offrit un plat d'argent du poids de 130 cycles, un bassin d'argent de 70 cycles, selon le cycle du sanctuaire, tous deux pleins de fleurs de farine pétrie à l'huile. Pour l'offrande, une coupe d'or de 10 cycles, pleine de parfums. Ensuite, un jeune taureau, un bélier, un agneau d'un an pour l'holocauste, un bouc pour le sacrifice d'expiation, et, pour le sacrifice d'action de grâce, 2 bœufs, 5 béliers, 5 boucs, 5 agneaux d'un an. Telle fut l'offrande d'Élishama, fils d'Amihud. Le huitième jour, le prince des fils de Manassé, Gamliel, fils de Pédatsur, offrit un plat d'argent du poids de 130 cycles, un bassin d'argent de 70 cycles, selon le cycle du sanctuaire, tous deux pleins de fleurs de farine pétrie à l'huile pour l'offrande. Une coupe d'or de 10 cycles, pleine de parfums. Un jeune taureau, un bélier, un agneau d'un an pour l'holocauste, un bouc pour le sacrifice d'expiation. Et pour le sacrifice d'action de grâce, 2 bœufs, 5 béliers, 5 boucs, 5 agneaux d'un an. Telle fut l'offrande de Gamliel, fils de Pédatsur. Le neuvième jour, le prince des fils de Benjamin, Abidan, fils de Gidéoni, offrit un plat d'argent du poids de 130 cycles, un bassin d'argent de 70 cycles, selon le cycle du sanctuaire, tous deux pleins de fleurs de farine pétrie à l'huile. Pour l'offrande, une coupe d'or de 10 cycles pleine de parfums, un jeune taureau, un bélier, un agneau d'un an pour l'holocauste, un bouc pour le sacrifice d'expiation et pour le sacrifice d'action de grâce, 2 bœufs, 5 béliers, 5 boucs, 5 agneaux d'un an. Telle fut l'offrande d'Abidan, fils de Guidéoni. Le 10e jour, le prince des fils de Dan, Ahiézer, fils d'Amishadaï, offrit un plat d'argent du poids de 130 cycles, un bassin d'argent de 70 cycles, selon le cycle du sanctuaire, tous deux pleins de fleurs de farine pétrie à l'huile pour l'offrande, une coupe d'or de 10 cycles pleine de parfums, un jeune taureau, un bélier, un agneau d'un an pour l'holocauste, un bouc pour le sacrifice d'expiation, et pour le sacrifice d'action de grâce, 2 bœufs, 5 béliers, 5 boucs, 5 agneaux d'un an. Telle fut l'offrande d'Ahiézer, fils d'Amishadaï. Le 11e jour, le prince des fils d'Azer, Pagiel, fils d'Ocran, offrit un plat d'argent du poids de 130 cycles, un bassin d'argent de 70 cycles, selon le cycle du sanctuaire, tous deux pleins de fleurs de farine pétrie à l'huile. Pour l'offrande, une coupe d'or de 10 cycles pleine de parfums, un jeune taureau, un bélier, un agneau d'un an pour l'holocauste, un bouc pour le sacrifice d'expiation, et, pour le sacrifice d'action de grâce, 2 bœufs, 5 béliers, 5 boucs, 5 agneaux d'un an. Telle fut l'offrande de Pagiel, fils d'Ocran. Le 12e jour, le prince des fils de Naphtali, Aïra, fils d'Énan, offrit un plat d'argent du poids de 130 cycles, un bassin d'argent de 70 cycles selon le cycle du sanctuaire, tous deux pleins de fleurs de farine pétrie à l'huile pour l'offrande, une coupe d'or de 10 cycles pleine de parfums, un jeune taureau, un bélier, un agneau d'un an pour l'holocauste, un bouc pour le sacrifice d'expiation, et pour le sacrifice d'action de grâce, 2 bœufs, 5 béliers, 5 boucs, 5 agneaux d'un an. Telle fut l'offrande d'Aïra, fils d'Énan. Tels furent les dons des princes d'Israël pour la dédicace de l'autel, le jour où l'on loignit. 12 plats d'argent, 12 bassins d'argent, 12 coupes d'or. Chaque plat d'argent pesait 130 cycles et chaque bassin 70, ce qui fit pour l'argent de ces ustensiles un total de 2400 cycles, selon le cycle du sanctuaire. Les 12 coupes d'or pleines de parfums, à 10 cycles la coupe, selon le cycle du sanctuaire, firent pour l'or des coupes un total de 120 cycles. Total des animaux pour l'holocauste, 12 taureaux, 12 béliers, 12 agneaux d'un an, avec les offrandes des ordinaires, 12 boucs pour le sacrifice d'expiation. Total des animaux pour le sacrifice d'action de grâce, 24 bœufs, 60 béliers, 60 boucs, 60 agneaux d'un an. Tels furent les dons pour la dédicace de l'autel après qu'on l'eut oint. Lorsque Moïse entrait dans la tente d'assignation pour parler avec l'Éternel, il entendit la voix qui lui parlait du haut du propitiatoire placé sur l'arche du témoignage entre les 2 chérubins, et il parlait avec l'Éternel.
Numbers chapter 8. The Lord said to Moses, "Give Aaron the following instructions. When you set up the 7 lamps in the lampstand, place them so their light shines forward in front of the lampstand." So Aaron did this. He set up the 7 lamps so they reflected their light forward, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. The entire lampstand, from its base to decorative blossoms, was made of beaten gold. It was built according to the exact design the Lord had shown Moses. Then the Lord said to Moses, now set the Levites apart from the rest of the people of Israel and make them ceremonially clean. Do this by sprinkling them with the water of purification and have them shave their entire body and wash their clothing. Then they will be ceremonially clean. Have them bring a young bull and a grain offering of choice flour moistened with olive oil, along with the second young bull for a sin offering. Then assemble the whole community of Israel and present the Levites at the entrance of the tabernacle. When you present the Levites before the Lord, the people of Israel must lay their hands on them. Raising their hands, Aaron must then present the Levites to the Lord as a special offering from the people of Israel, thus dedicating them to the Lord's service. Next, the Levites will lay their hands on the heads of the young bulls, present one as a sin offering and the other as a burnt offering to the Lord, to purify the Levites and make them right with the Lord. Then have the Levites stand in front of Aaron and his sons and raise your hands and present them as a special offering to the Lord. In this way, you will set the Levites apart from the rest of the people of Israel. And the Levites will belong to me. After this, they may go into the tabernacle to do their work because you have purified them and presented them as a special offering. Of all the people of Israel, the Levites are reserved for me. I have claimed them for myself in place of all the firstborn sons of Israelites. I have taken the Levites as their substance. For all the firstborn males among the people of Israel are mine, both the people and of animals. I set them apart for myself on the day I struck down all the firstborn sons of the Egyptians. Yes, I have claimed the Levites in place of all the firstborn sons of Israel, and all and of all the Israelites I have assigned the Levites to Aaron and his sons. They will serve in the tabernacle on behalf of Israelites and make sacrifices to purify the people, so no plague will strike them when they approach the sanctuary. So Moses, Aaron, and the whole community of Israel dedicated the Levites, carefully following all the Lord's instructions to Moses. The Levites purified themselves from sin and washed their clothes, and Aaron lifted them up and presented them to the Lord as a special offering. He then offered a sacrifice to purify them and make them right with the Lord. After that, the Levites went into the tabernacle to perform their duties, assisting Aaron and his sons. So they carried out all the commands that the Lord gave Moses concerning the Levites. The Lord also instructed Moses, this is the rule the Levites must follow. They must begin serving the tabernacle at the age of 25, and they must retire at the age of 50. After retirement, they may assist their fellow Levites by serving as guards at the tabernacle, but they may not officiate in the service. This is how you must assign duties to the Levites. A year after Israel, chapter 9, a year after Israel's depart from Egypt, the Lord spoke to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai. In the first month of the year, he said, tell the Israelites to celebrate the Passover at the prescribed time, at twilight on the 14th day of the first month. Be sure to follow all my decrees and regulations concerning this celebration. So Moses told the people to celebrate the Passover in the wilderness of Sinai as twilight fell on the 14th day of the month, and they celebrate the festival there, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. But some of the men had been ceremonically defiled by touching the dead body, so they could not celebrate the Passover that day. They came to Moses and Aaron that day and said, "We have become ceremonically unclean by touching the dead body, but why should we be prevented from presenting the Lord's offering at the proper time with the rest of the Israelites?" Moses answered, "Wait here until I have received instructions from you from the Lord." This was the Lord's reply to Moses. Give the following instructions to the people of Israel. If any of the people now or in future generations are ceremonically unclean at Passover time because of touching a dead body, or if they are on a journey and cannot be present at ceremony, they may still celebrate the Lord's Passover. They must offer the Passover sacrifice 1 month later at twilight on the 14th day of the second month. They must eat the Passover lamb at the time with bitter salad greens and bread made without yeast. They must not leave any of the lamb until the next morning. They must not break any of its bones. They must follow all the normal regulations concerning the Passover. But those who neglect to celebrate the Passover at the regular time, even though they are ceremonically clean and not away on a trip, will be cut off from the community of Israel. If they fail to present the Lord's offering at the proper time, they will suffer the consequences of their guilt. And if foreigners living among you want to celebrate the Passover to the Lord, they must follow these same decrees and regulations. The same laws apply both to the native born Israelites and the foreigners living among you. On the day the tabernacle was set up, the cloud covered it, but from evening until morning, the cloud over the tabernacle looked like a pillar of fire. This was the regular pattern. At night, the cloud that covered the tabernacle had an appearance of fire. Whenever the cloud lifted from over the sacred tent, the people of Israel would break camp and follow it. And whenever the cloud settled, the people of Israel would set up camp. In this way, they traveled and camped at the Lord's command whenever He told them to go. Then they remained in their camp as long as the cloud stayed over the tabernacle. If the cloud remained over the tabernacle for a long time, the Israelites stayed and performed their duty to the Lord. Sometimes the cloud would stay over the tabernacle for only a few days. So the people would stay for only a few days as the Lord commanded. Then the Lord's command, they would break camp and move on. Sometimes the cloud stayed only overnight and lifted the next morning. But day or night, when the cloud lifted, the people broke camp and moved on. Whether the cloud stayed above the tabernacle for 2 days, a month, or a year, the people of Israel stayed in the camp and did not move on. But as soon as it lifted, they broke camp and moved on. So they camped or traveled at the Lord's command, and they did whatever the Lord told them through Moses.
Now the Lord said to Moses, "Take 2 drums of hammered silver for calling the community to assemble and for signaling the break of camp. When both trumpets are blown, everyone must gather before you at the entrance of the tabernacle. But only one trumpet is blown, and then only the leaders, the head of the clans of Israel, must present themselves to you. When you sound the signal to move on, the tribes camped on the east side of the tabernacle must break camp and move forward. When you sound the signal a second time, the tribes camped on the south will follow. You must sound a short blast as a signal for moving on. But when you call the people to an assembly, blown the trumpets with the different signals. Only the priest, Aaron descendants are allowed to blow the trumpets. This is a permanent law for you to be observed from generations to generation. When you arrive in your own land and need to go to war against your enemies who attack you, sound the alarm with trumpets. Then the Lord your God will remember you, rescue you from your enemies. Blow the trumpets in the time of gladness to sound them to your annual festivals at the beginning of each month, and blow the trumpets over your burnt offerings and peace offerings. The trumpets remind you of God of His covenant with you. I am the Lord your God. In the second year after Israel's departure from Egypt, on the 20th day of the second month, the cloud lifted the tabernacle of the covenant. So the Israelites set out from the wilderness of Sinai and traveled on from place to place until the cloud stopped in the wilderness of Paran. When the people set out for the first time, following the instructions the Lord had given through Moses, Judah's troops led the way. They marched behind their banner, and their leader was Nashon, the son of Amminadab. They were joined by the troops of the tribe of Issachar, led by Nathaniel, the son of Juar, and the troops of the tribe of Jebulun, led by Eliab, the son of Helon. Then the tabernacle was taken down, and the Geshronite and the Merarite division of the Levite were next in the line of march, carrying the tabernacle with them. Reuben's troops went next, marching behind the banner. The leader was Elizur, the son of Shedur. They were joined by the troops of the tribe of Simeon, led by Shulemiel, the son of Jorishuddai, and the troops of the tribe of Gad, led by Elishaphat, the son of Duil. Next came the Kohathite division of the Levites, carrying the sacred objects from the tabernacle before the Lord. Before they arrived at the next camp, the tabernacle went already to be set up at the new location. Ephraim troops went next, marching behind the banner. The leader was Elishama, the son of Amohuid, and they were joined by the troops of the tribe of Manasseh, led by Gamaliel, the son of Pedazur, and the troops of the tribe of Benjamin, led by Abidan, son of Gideoni. Dan's troops were last, marching behind the banner and serving as the rear guard for all the tribal camps. The leader was Ahijah, the son of Ammishaddai. They were joined by the troops of the tribe of Asher, led by Pigael, the son of Okran, and the troops of the tribe of Naphtali, led by Ahira, the son of Enan. This was the order in which Israelites marched division by division. One day Moses said to the brother-in-law, Habab, son of Ruel, the Midianite, "We are on the way to the place the Lord promised us," and he said, "I will give it to you. Come with us, and we will treat you well, for the Lord has promised wonderful blessings for Israel." But Habab replied, "No, I will not go. I must return to my own land and family. We should camp, come and be our guide. And if you do well, we will share with you all the blessings the Lord gives you." They marched there for after 3 days, from 3 days after leaving the mountain of the Lord, with the ark of the Lord's covenant moving ahead of them to show them where to stop and rest. As they moved each day, and the cloud of the Lord hovered them, and whenever the ark set out, the Moses would shout, "Arise, O Lord, and let your enemies be scattered, let them flee." before you, and when the ark was set down, he would say, Return, O Lord, to the countless thousands of Israel. Numbers 11. Soon the people began to complain about their hardships, and the Lord heard everything they said. Then the Lord's anger blazed against them and set a fire to rage among them and destroyed some of the people in the outskirts of the camp. Then the people screamed to Moses for help, and when they prayed to the Lord, the fire stopped. After that, the area was known as Tebira, which means the place of burning, because the fire from the Lord had burned among them there. Then the foreign rabble who was traveling with the Israelites began to crave the good things of Egypt, and the people of Israel also began to complain over some meat, they exclaimed. I remember the fish we used to eat for free in Egypt, and all the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic we wanted. But now our appetite are gone. All we ever see is this manna. The manna, Lord, looked like a small coriander seed. It was pale yellow like gum raisin. The people would go out and gather it from the ground. They made flour by griddling it with the hand mills or pounding it in mortars. Then they boiled it in the pot and made it into a flat cakes. These cakes tasted like pastries baked with olive oil. The manna came down from the camp with the dew during the night. Moses heard all the families standing in the doorways in their tents, winning. And the Lord became extremely angry. Moses was also very aggravated, and the Lord said to the Moses said to the Lord, "Why are you treating me, your servant, so harshly? Have mercy upon me. What did I do to deserve the burden of all these people? Did I give birth to them? Did I bring them into the world? Why did you tell me to carry them in my arms like a mother carries a nursing baby? How can I carry them to the land you swore to give your ancestors? Where am I supposed to get meat from for all these people? They keep meaning to say me, saying, "Give us meat to eat." And I can't carry all these people myself. The load is far too heavy. This is how you intended to treat me. Just go ahead and kill me. Do me a favor and spare this misery. Then the Lord said to Moses, Gather before the 70 men who are recognized as elders and the leaders of Israel. Bring them to the tabernacle to stand there with you, and I will come down and talk to you there. And I will give you some of the spirit that is upon you, and put the spirit upon them also. They will bear the burden of the people along with you, so you will not have to carry it alone. And they say to the people, Purify yourself, for tomorrow you will have meat to eat. You are winning. And the Lord heard when you cried for some meat. And we were better off in Egypt. Now the Lord will give you meat. You have to eat it, and it won't be just for 1 day or 2 days or 5 days or 10 days or even 20. You will eat it for the whole month until you gag and are sick of it. You have rejected the Lord who is here among you, and you are winning to him, saying, Why did you ever leave Egypt? But Moses responded to the Lord, There are 600K foot soldiers here with me, and yet you say, I give them meat for the whole month, even if I butchered all the flocks and the herds would satisfy them. Even if we caught all the fish in the sea, would that be enough? Then the Lord said to Moses, Has my power lost his arm? Now you see whether or not my words come true. So Moses went out, reported the Lord's word to the people. He gathered the 70 elders and stationed them around the tabernacle. And the Lord came upon the cloud and spoke to Moses, and then gave the 20 elders the same spirit that was upon Moses. And when the spirit rested upon them, they prophesied. But this never happened again. Two men, Eldad and Medad, who had stayed behind the camp, they were listed among the elders, but they had not gone out of the tabernacle, and the Spirit rested upon them as well. So they prophesied there in the camp. The young men ran and reported to Moses, Elidad, and Medad, and prophesying in the camp. Joshua, the son of Nun, who had been Moses' assistant since his youth, protested, Moses, my master, make them stop. But Moses replied, are you jealous of my sake? I wish all the Lord's people were prophets, and the Lord put upon his spirit upon them. Then Moses returned to the camp with the elders of Israel. And now the Lord sent a wind that brought quail from the sea and let them fall on all around the camp, every miles in every direction. And there were quail flying about 3 feet above the ground. So the people went out, caught quail all the day and throughout the night and all the next day too. Um, no one gathered less than 50 bushels. They spread the quail all around the camp to dry. But while they are gorging themselves on the meat, while it was still in their mouths, the anger of the Lord blazed upon the people, and he struck them with a severe plague. So the people called Kibroth Hatava, which means the graves of gluttony, because they had buried the people who craved for meat from Egypt. From Kibroth Hatava, the Israelites traveled to Eziroth, where they stayed for some time. Amen.
Chapter Numbers, 12th chapter. Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the Cushite women whom he married, for he had married a Cushite woman. And they said, has the Lord indeed spoken only through Moses? Has he not spoken through us also? And the Lord heard it. Now the man Moses was very meek, more than all people who were on the face of the earth. And suddenly the Lord said to Moses and to Aaron and Miriam, come out, you three, to the tent of meeting. And the three of them came out. And the Lord came down in a pillar of cloud and stood at the entrance of the tent and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forward. And he said, hear my words. If there is a prophet among you, I, the Lord, make myself known to him in a vision. I speak with him in a dream. Not so with my servant Moses. He is faithful in all my house. With him I speak mouth to mouth clearly and not in riddles. And he beholds the from of the Lord. Why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. Then the cloud removed from over the tent. Behold, Miriam was leprous, like snow. And Aaron turned toward Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said to Moses, O my Lord, do not punish us because we have done foolishly and have sinned. Let her not to be as one dead, whose flesh is off eaten away when he comes out of his mother's womb. And Moses cried to the Lord, O God, please heal her, please. But the Lord said to Moses, if her father had put spit in her face, should she not she shamed 7 days? Let her be shut outside the camp 7 days, and after that she may be brought in again. So Miriam was shut outside the camp 7 days, and the people did not set out on the march till Miriam was brought in again. After that, people set out from Hezroth and camped in the wilderness of Paran. Chapter 13. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, send men to spy out the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the people of Israel. From each tribe of their fathers you shall send a man, every one a chief among them. So Moses sent them from the wilderness of Paran, according to the command of the Lord, all of them men who were heads of the people of Israel. And these were their names: from the tribe of Reuben, Shemuel the son of Jecher; from the tribe of Simon, Shepherd the son of Hori; from the tribe of Judah, Caleb the son of Jephunneh; from the tribe of Issachar, Igal the son of Joseph; from the tribe of Ephraim, Hoshea the son of Nun; from the tribe of Benjamin, Palti the son of Raphu; from the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel the son of Sodi; from the tribe of Joseph, that is, from the tribe of Manasseh, Gadi the son of Susi; from the tribe of Dan, Amiel the son of Gemali; from the tribe of Asher, Sethur the son of Michael; from the tribe of Naphtali, Nahibi the son of Upsi; from the tribe of Gad, Guel the son of Machi. These were the names of the men whom Moses sent to spy out the land. And Moses called Hoshea the son of Nun Joshua. Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan and said to them, "Go up into the Nezeb and go up into the hill country and see what the land is, and whether the people who dwell in it are strong, weak, whether they are few or many, and whether the land that they dwell in is good or bad, and whether the cities that dwell in are camps or strongholds, and whether the land is rich or poor, and whether there are trees in it or not. Be of good courage and bring some of the fruit of the land." Now the time was the season of the first ripe grapes. So they went up and spied out the land from the wilderness of Jin to Rehob near Lebo Hamath. They went up into the Negeb and came to Hebron. Ahiman, Sheshai, and Talmai, the descendants of Anak, were there. Hebron was built 7 years before Gion in Egypt. And they came to the valley of Eshcol and cut down from there a branch with a single cluster of grape, and they carried it on a pole between two of them. They also brought some pomegranates and figs. That place was called the Valley of Eshcol because of the cluster that the people of Israel cut down from there. At the end of 40 days, they returned from spying out the land, and they came to Moses and Aaron and to all the congregation of the people of Israel in the wilderness of Paran at Kadesh. They brought back word to them and to all congregation and showed them the fruit of land. And they told him, "We came to the land to which you sent us. It flows with milk and honey, and this is the fruit. However, the people who dwell in the land are strong, and the cities are fortified and very large. And besides, we saw the descendants of Anak there. The Amalekites dwell in the land of Negeb, the Hittites, the Jebusites, and the Amorites dwell in the hill country, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and along uh, the Jordan. But Caleb quit the people before Moses and said, Let us go up at once and occupy it, for we are well able to overcome it." Then the men who had gone up with him said, "We are not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we are." So they brought to the people of Israel a bad report of the land that they had spied, saying, "The land through which we have gone to spy it out is a land that devours its inhabitants, and all the people that we it saw in it are of great height." And there are saw the Nephilim, the son of Anak, who came from Nephilim, and we seem to ourselves like grasshoppers, and so we seem to them. Chapter 14. Then all the congregation raised a loud cry, and the people wept that night. And all the people of Israel grumbled against Moses and Aaron. The whole congregation said to them, "Would that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would that we had died in the wilderness. Why is the Lord bringing us into the land to fall by the sword? Or our wives and our little ones will become a prey. Would it not be better for us to go back to Egypt?" And they said to one another, "Let us choose a leader and go back to Egypt." Then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of congregation of the people of Israel, and Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, who were among those who had spied out the land, tore their clothes, and said to all the congregation of the people of Israel, "The land which we passed through to spy it out is an exceedingly good land. If the Lord delights in us, he will bring us into his land and give it to us, a land that flows with milk and honey. Only do not rebel against the Lord and do not fear the people of the land, for they are bread for us. Their protection is removed from them, and the Lord is with us. Do not fear them." Then all congregations said to stone them with stones, but the glory of Lord appeared at the tent of meeting to all the people of Israel. And the Lord said to Moses, How long will the people despise me, and how long will they have not believed in me, in spite of all the signs that I have done among them? I will strike them with the pestilence and disinherit them, and I will make you of a nation greater and mightier than they. But Moses said to the Lord, Then the Egyptians will hear of it, for you brought up this people in your might from among them. And they will tell the inhabitants of this land, They have heard that you, O Lord, are in the midst of the people. For you, O Lord, are seen face to face, and your cloud stands over them, and you go before them in a pillar of cloud by day and in a pillar of fire by night. Now, if you kill these people as one man, then the nations who have heard your fame will stay. Is it because it is because the Lord was not able to bring these people into the land that he swore to give to them, that he has killed them in the wilderness? And now, please let the power of the Lord be great as you have promised, saying, The Lord is slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love, forgiving iniquity and transgression, but he will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and the fourth generation. Please pardon the iniquity of this people according to the greatness of your steadfast love, just as you have forgiven this people from Egypt until now. Then the Lord said, I have pardoned according to your word, but truly as I live, and as all earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord. None of the men who have seen my glory and my signs that I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and yet have put me to the test, these 10 times have not obeyed my voice, shall see that the land that I swore to give to their fathers, and none of those who despised me shall see it. But my servant Caleb, because he has a different spirit and has followed me fully, I will bring into the land into which he went, and his descendants shall possess it. Now, since the Amalekites and the Canaanites dwell in the valleys, turn tomorrow and set out for the wilderness by the way to this Red Sea. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, How long shall this wicked congregation grumble against me? I have heard the grumblings of the people of Israel, which they grumble against me. Say to them, As I live, declares the Lord, what you have said in my hearing, I will do to you. Your dead bodies shall fall in wilderness, and all of your number listed in the census from 20 years old and upward, who have grumbled against me. Not one shall come into the land where I swore that I would make you dwell, except Caleb the son of Jephunneh and Joshua the son of Nun. But your little ones who you said would become a prey, I will bring in. They shall know the land that you have rejected. But as for you, your dead bodies shall fall in the wilderness, and your children shall be shepherds in the wilderness. 40 years shall suffer for your faithlessness until the last of your dead bodies lies in the wilderness. according to the number of the days in which you spied out the land, 40 days a year. For each day you shall bear iniquity 40 years, and you shall know my displeasure. I, the Lord, have spoken. Surely this will I do to all the wicked congregation who are gathered together against me in this wilderness. They shall come to a full end, and there they shall die. And the men whom Moses sent to spy out the land, who returned and made all the congregation grumble against him by bringing up a bad report about the land. The men who brought up a bad report of the land died by plague before the Lord. Of this moon who spent to spy out the land, only Joshua the son of Nun, the Caleb the son of Jephunneh, remained alive. When Moses told these words to all the people of Israel, the people mourned greatly, and they rose early in the morning and went up to the heights of hill country, saying, "Here we are. We will go up to the place that the Lord has promised, for we have sinned." But Moses said, "Why now are you transgressing the command of the Lord when that will not succeed? Do not go up, for the Lord is not among you, lest you be struck down before your enemies. For these Amalekites and the Canaanites are facing you, and you shall fall by the sword, because you have turned back from the following the Lord. The Lord will not be with you." But they presumed to go up to the heights of the hill country, although neither the ark of covenant of the Lord nor Moses departed out of the camp. Then the Amalekites and the Canaanites who lived in that hill country came down and defeated them and pursued them even no more.
Law of grain and drink offerings. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when you have come into the land you are to inhabit, which I am giving to you, and you make an offering by fire to the Lord, a burnt offering or a sacrifice to fulfill a vow, or as a free will offering, or in your appointed feasts, to make a sweet aroma to the Lord from the herd or the flock. Then he who presents his offering to the Lord shall bring a grain offering of 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour, mixed with 1/4 of a hin of oil and 1/4 of a hin of wine. As a drink offering, you shall prepare with the burnt offerings or the sacrifice for each lamb. Or for a ram, you shall prepare as a grain offering 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour, mixed with 1/3 of a hin of oil. And as a drink offering, you shall offer 1/3 of a hin of wine, as sweet aroma to the Lord. And when you prepare a young bull as a burnt offering, or as a sacrifice to fulfill a vow, or as a peace offering to the Lord, then shall be offered with the young bull a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour, mixed with half a hin of oil. And you shall bring as the drink offering half a hin of wine as an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. Thus it shall be done for each young bull, for each ram, or for each lamb or young goat. According to the number that you prepare, so you shall do with every one according to their number. All who are native born shall do these things in this manner, in presenting an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. And if a stranger dwells with you, or whoever is among you throughout your generations, and would present an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord, just as you do, so shall he do. One ordinance shall be for you of the assembly and for the stranger who dwells with you, an ordinance forever throughout your generations, as you are. Oh, so shall the stranger be before the Lord. One law and one custom shall be for you, and for the stranger who dwells with you. Again, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, When you come into the land to which I bring, then it will be, when you eat of the bread of the land, that you shall offer up a heaven offering to the Lord. You shall offer up a cake of the first of your ground meal as a heave offering, a heave offering of the threshing floor, so shall you offer it up. Of the first of your ground meal you shall give to the Lord a heave offering throughout your generations. Laws concerning unintentional sin: if you sin unintentionally and do not observe all these commandments which the Lord has spoken to Moses, all that the Lord has commanded you by the hand of Moses from the day that the Lord gave commandment and onward throughout your generations, then it will be, if it is unintentionally committed without the knowledge of the congregation, that the whole congregation shall offer you offer one young bull as a burnt offering, as a sweet aroma to the Lord, with its grain offering and its drink offering according to the ordinance, and one kid of the goats as a sin offering. So the priest shall make atonement for the whole congregation of the children of Israel, and it shall be forgiven them, for it was unintentional. They shall bring their offering, an offering made by fire to the Lord, and a sin offering before the Lord. For their unintended sin, it shall be forgiven the whole congregation of the children of Israel and the stranger who dwells amongst them, because all the people did it unintentionally. And if a person sins unintentionally, then he shall bring a female goat in its first year as a sin offering. So the priest shall make atonement for the person who sins unintentionally. When he sins unintentionally before the Lord, to make atonement for him, and it shall be forgiven him. You shall have one law for who sins unintentionally, for him who is native born among the children of Israel, and for the stranger who dwells among them. Law concerning presumptuous sin. But the person who does anything presumptuously, whether he is native born or a stranger, that one brings reproach on the Lord, and he shall be cut off from among his people, because he has despised the word of the Lord and has broken his commandment. That person shall be completely cut off, his guilt shall be upon him. Penalty for violating the Sabbath. Now, while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man gathering sticks on the Sabbath day. And those who found him gathering sticks brought him to Moses and Aaron and to all the congregation. They put him under guard because it had not been explained what should be done to him. Then the Lord said to Moses, The man must surely be put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones outside the camp. So as the Lord commanded Moses, all the congregation brought him outside the camp and stoned him with stones, and he died. Again the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel. Tell them to make tassels on the corners of their garments throughout their generations, and to put a blue thread in the tassels on the corners. And you shall have the tassel that you may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do to them, that you may not follow the harlotry to which your own heart and your own eyes are inclined, and that you remember and do all my commandments, and be holy for your God. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord your God. Now Korah, the son of Ishar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, with Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eli, and On, the son of Peleth, son of Reuben, took men, and they rose up before Moses with some of the children of Israel, 250 leaders of the congregation, representatives of the congregation, men of renown. They gathered together against Moses and Aaron and said to them, You take too much upon yourselves, for all the congregation is holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. Why then do you exalt yourselves above the assembly of the Lord? So when Moses heard it, he fell on his face, And he spoke to Korah and all his company, saying, "Tomorrow morning the Lord will show who is his and who is holy, and he will cause him to come near to him. That one whom he chooses, he will cause to come near to him. Do this, take censers, Korah and all your company. Put fire in them and put incense in them before the Lord tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom the Lord chooses is the Holy One. You take too much upon yourselves, you son of Levi." Then Moses said to Korah, "Hear now, you son of Levi, is it a small thing that to you that the God of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel, to bring you near to himself, to do the work of the tabernacle of the Lord, and to stand before the congregation to serve them, and that he has brought you near to himself, you and all your brethren, the sons of Levi with you? Are you seeking the priesthood also? Therefore you and all your company are gathered together against the Lord. And what is Aaron that you complain against him?" And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab. But they said, "We will not come up. It is a small thing that you have brought us up on our land flowing with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, that you should keep acting like a prince over us. Moreover, you have not brought us into a land flowing with milk and honey. Now, given us inheritance of fields and vineyards, will you put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up." Then Moses was very angry and said to the Lord, "Do not respect their offering. I have not taken one donkey from them, nor have I hurt one of them." And Moses said to Korah, "Tomorrow you and all your company be present before the Lord, you and they as well as Aaron. Let each take his censer and put his incense in it, and each of you bring his censer before the Lord, 250 censers, both you and Aaron, each with his censer." So every man took his censer, put fire in it, laid incense on it, and stood at the door of the tabernacle of meeting with Moses and Aaron. And Korah gathered all the congregation against them at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Then the glory of the Lord appeared to all the congregation. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, "Separate yourselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment." Then they fell on their faces and said, "O God, the God of the spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin, and you be angry with all the congregation?" So the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the congregation, saying, Get away from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram." Then Moses rose and went to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spoke to the congregation and said, "Depart now from the tents of these wicked men, touch nothing of theirs, lest you be consumed in all their sins." So they got away from around the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. And Dathan and Abiram came out and stood at the door of the tents with their wives, their sons, and their little children. And Moses said, "By this you shall know that the Lord has sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of my own will. If these men die naturally like all men, or if they are visited by the common fate of all men, then the Lord has not sent me. But if the Lord creates a new thing, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them up with all that belongs to them, and they go down alive into the pit, then you will understand that these men have rejected the Lord." Now it came to pass, as he finished speaking all these words, that the ground split apart under them, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up, with their households, and all the men with Korah, with all their goods. So they and all those with them went down alive into the pit. The earth closed over them, and they perished from among the assembly. Then all Israel who were around them fled at their cry, for they said, "Lest the earth shall swallow us up also." And a fire came out from the Lord and consumed the 250 men who were offering incense. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Tell Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, to pick up the censers out of the blaze, for they are holy, and scatter the fire some distance away. The senses of these men who sinned against their own souls, let them be made into hammered plates as a covering for the altar, because they presented them before the Lord. Therefore they are holy, and they shall be a sign to the children of Israel. So Eleazar the priest took the bronze censers which those who were burned up had presented, and they hammered out a covering on the altar to be a memorial to the children of Israel, that no outsider who is not descended of Aaron should come near to offer incense before the Lord, that he might not become like Korah and his companions, just as the Lord had said to him through Moses. On the next day, all the congregation of children of Israel complained against Moses and Aaron, saying, "You have killed the people of the Lord." Now it happened when the congregation had gathered against Moses and Aaron that they had turned towards the tabernacle of meeting, and suddenly the cloud covered it, and the glory of the Lord appeared. Then Moses and Aaron came before the tabernacle of meeting, and the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Get away from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment." And they fell on their faces. So Moses said to Aaron, "Take a censer and put fire in it from the altar, put incense on it, and take it quickly to the congregation and make atonement for them. For wrath has gone out from the Lord. The plague has begun." Then Aaron took it as Moses commanded and ran into the midst of the assembly, and already the plague had begun among the people. So he put in the incense and made atonement for the people. And he stood between the dead and the living. So the plague was stopped. Now those who died in the plague were 14,700, besides those who died in Korah incident. So Aaron returned to Moses at the door of the tabernacle of the meeting, for the plague had stopped. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel, and get from them a rod for each father's house, all their leaders according to their father's houses, 12 rods. Write each man's name on his rod, and you shall write Aaron's name on the rod of Levi. For there shall be one rod for the head of each father's house. Then you shall place them in the tabernacle of meeting before the testimony, where I meet with you. And it shall be that the rod of the man whom I chose will blossom. Thus I will rid myself of the complaints of the children of Israel, which they make against you." So Moses spoke to the children of Israel, and each of their leaders gave him a rod apiece, for each leaders according to their fathers' houses, 12 rods, and the rod of Aaron was among their rods. And Moses placed the rods before the Lord in the tabernacle of witness. Now it came to pass on the next day that Moses went into the tabernacle of witness, and behold, the rod of Aaron of the house of Levi had sprouted and put forth buds, had produced blossoms, and yielded ripe almonds. Then Moses brought out all the rods from before the Lord to all the children of Israel, and they looked, and each man took his rod. And the Lord said to Moses, "Bring Aaron's rod back before the testimony to be kept as a sign against the rebels, that you may put their complaints away from me, lest they die." Thus did Moses, just as the Lord had commanded him, so he did. So the children of Israel spoke to Moses, saying, "Surely we die, we perish, we all perish. Whoever comes near the tabernacle of the Lord must die. Shall we all utterly die?" Then the Lord said to Aaron, "You and your sons and your father's house with you shall bear the iniquity related to the sanctuary, and you and your sons with you shall bear the iniquity associated with your priesthood. Also bring with you your brethren of the tribe of Levi, the tribe of your father, that they may be joined with you and serve you while you and your sons are with you before the tabernacle of witness. They shall attend to your needs and all the needs of the tabernacle. But they shall not come near the articles of the sanctuary and the altar, lest they die.
They and you also. They shall be joined with you and attend to the needs of the tabernacle of meeting, for all the work of the tabernacle. But an outsider shall not come near you. You shall attend to the duties of the sanctuary and the duties of the altar, that there may be no more wrath on the children of Israel. Behold, I myself have taken you, brethren, the Levites, from among the children of Israel. They are a gift to you, given by the Lord, to do the work of the tabernacle of meeting. Therefore, you and your sons with you shall attend to your priesthood for everything at the altar and behind the veil, and you shall serve. I give your priesthood to you as a gift for your service, that the outsider who comes near shall be put to death. And the Lord spoke to Aaron, Here I myself have given you charge of my heave offerings, all the holy gifts of the children of Israel. I have given them as a portion to you and your sons, as an ordinance forever. This shall be yours of the most holy things reserved from the fire. Every offering of theirs, every grain of offering, and every sin offering, and every trespass offering which they render to me, shall be most holy for you and your sons. In a most holy place you shall eat. Every male shall eat it. It shall be holy to you. This also is yours, the heave offering of their gifts, with all the wave offerings of the children of Israel. I have given them to you and your sons and daughters with you as an ordinance forever. Everyone who is clean in your house may eat it. All the best of the oil, all the best of the new wine and the grain, their first fruits which they offer to the Lord, I have given them to you. Whatever first ripe fruit is in their land, which they bring to the Lord, shall be yours. Everyone who is clean in your house may eat it. Every devoted thing in Israel shall be yours. Everything that first opens the womb of all flesh, which they bring to the Lord, whether man or beast, shall be yours. Nevertheless, the firstborn of man you shall surely redeem, and the firstborn of unclean animals you shall redeem. And those redeemed of the devoted things you shall redeem when 1 month old, according to the valuation, for 5 shekels of silver, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, which is 20 gerahs. But the firstborn of a cow, the firstborn of a sheep, or the firstborn of a goat, you shall not redeem. They are holy. You shall sprinkle their blood on the altar and burn their fat as an offering made by fire for a sweet aroma to the Lord. And their flesh shall be yours, just as a wave breast and the right thigh are yours. All the heave offerings of the holy things which the children of Israel offer to the Lord, I have given to you and your sons and daughters with you as an ordinance forever. It is a covenant of salt forever before the Lord with you and your descendants with you. Then the Lord said to Aaron, You shall have no inheritance in their land, nor shall you have any portion among them. I am your portion and your inheritance among the children of Israel. Behold, I have given the children of Levi all the tithes in Israel as an inheritance in return for their work which they perform, the work of the tabernacle of meeting. Hereafter, the children of Israel shall not come near the tabernacle of meeting, lest they bear sin and die. But the Levites shall perform the work of the tabernacle of meeting, and they shall bear their iniquity. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations, that among the children of Israel they shall have no inheritance. For the tithes of the children of Israel, which they offer up as a heave offering to the Lord, I have given to the Levites as an inheritance. Therefore I have said to them, Among the children of Israel they shall have no inheritance. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak thus to the Levites, and say to them, When you take from the children of Israel the tithes which I have given you from them as your inheritance, then you shall offer up a heave offering of it to the Lord, a tenth of the tithe. And your heave offering shall be reckoned to you as though it were the grain of the threshing floor, and as the fullness of the winepress. Thus you shall also offer a heave offering to the Lord from all your tithes, which you receive from the children of Israel, and you shall give the Lord's heave offering from it to Aaron the priest. Of all your gifts you shall offer up every heave offering due to the Lord, from all the best of them. the consecrated part of them. Therefore you shall say to them, when you have lifted up the best of it, then the rest shall be accounted to the Levites. As the produce of the threshing floor and as the produce of the winepress, you may eat it in any place, you and your households, for it is your reward for your work in the tabernacle of meeting, and you shall bear no sin because of it. When you have lifted up the best of it, but you shall not profane the holy gifts of the children of Israel, lest you die. Eat it in any place, you and your house, for it is your reward for your work in the tabernacle, and you shall bear no sin because of it. When you have lifted up the best of it, but you shall not profane the holy gifts of the children of Israel, lest you die.
Bilangan 19. Tuhan berfirman kepada Musa dan Harun, inilah ketetapan hukum yang diperintahkan Tuhan dengan berfirman, katakanlah kepada orang Israel, supaya mereka membawa kepadamu seekor lembu betina merah yang tidak bercela, yang tidak ada cacatnya dan yang belum pernah kenakuk. Dan haruslah kamu memberikannya kepada Imam Eleazar, maka lembu itu harus dibawa keluar tempat perkemahan, lalu disembelih di depan imam. Kemudian Imam Eleazar harus mengambil dengan jarinya sedikit dari darah lembu itu. Lalu haruslah ia memercikan sedikit ke arah sebelah depan kemah pertemuan sampai 7 kali. Sesudah itu haruslah lembu itu dibakar habis di depan mata imam. Kulitnya, dagingnya, dan darahnya haruslah dibakar habis bersama-sama dengan kotorannya. Dan imam haruslah mengambil kayu aras, hisop, dan kain kirmisi dan melemparkannya ke tengah-tengah api yang membakar habis lembu itu. Kemudian haruslah imam mencuci pakaiannya dan membasuh tubuhnya dengan air. Sesudah itu masuk ke tempat perkemahan, dan imam itu najis sampai matahari terbenam. Orang yang membakar habis lembu itu haruslah mencuci pakaiannya dengan air dan membasuh tubuhnya dengan air. Dan ia najis sampai matahari terbenam. Maka seorang yang tahir haruslah mengumpulkan abu lembu itu dan menaruhnya pada suatu tempat yang tahir di luar tempat perkemahan, supaya semuanya itu tinggal tersimpan bagi umat Israel untuk membuat air pentahiran. Itulah penghapus dosa. Dan orang yang mengumpulkan abu lembu itu haruslah mencuci pakaiannya, dan ia najis sampai matahari terbenam. Itulah suatu ketetapan untuk selama-lamanya bagi orang Israel dan bagi orang asing yang tinggal di tengah-tengahmu. Orang yang kena kepada mayat, ia najis 7 hari lamanya. Ia harus menghapus dosa dari dirinya dengan air itu pada hari yang ketiga, dan pada hari yang ketujuh ia tahir. Tetapi jika pada hari yang ketiga ia tidak menghapus dosa dari dirinya, maka tidaklah ia tahir pada hari ketujuh. Setiap orang yang kena kepada mayat, yaitu tubuh manusia yang telah mati, dan tidak menghapus dosa dari dirinya, ia menajiskan kemah suci Tuhan, dan orang itu haruslah dilenyapkan dari Israel. Karena air pentahiran tidak disiramkan kepadanya, maka ia najis. Kenajisannya masih melekat padanya. Inilah hukumnya, apabila seorang mati dalam suatu kemah, setiap orang yang masuk ke dalam kemah itu dan segala yang di dalam kemah itu najis 7 hari lamanya. Setiap bejana yang terbuka yang tidak ada kain penutup terikat di atasnya adalah najis. Juga setiap orang yang di padang yang kena kepada seorang yang mati terbunuh oleh pedang, atau kepada mayat, atau kepada tulang-tulang seorang manusia, atau kepada kubur, orang itu najis 7 hari lamanya. Bagi orang yang najis haruslah diambil sedikit abu dari korban penghapus dosa yang dibakar habis. Lalu di dalam bejana abu itu dibubuhi air mengalir. Kemudian seorang yang tahir haruslah mengambil hisop, mencelupkannya ke dalam air itu, dan memercikannya ke atas kemah, dan ke atas segala bejana, dan ke atas orang-orang yang ada di sana, dan ke atas orang yang telah kena kepada tulang-tulang, atau kepada orang yang mati terbunuh, atau kepada mayat, atau kepada kubur itu. Orang yang tahir itu haruslah memercik kepada orang yang najis itu pada hari yang ketiga dan pada hari yang ketujuh. Dan pada hari yang ketujuh itu haruslah ia menghapus dosa orang itu, dan orang yang najis itu haruslah mencuci pakaiannya dan membasuh badannya dengan air. Lalu ia tahir pada waktu matahari terbenam. Tetapi orang yang telah najis dan tidak menghapus dosa dari dirinya, orang itu harus dilenyapkan dari tengah-tengah jemaah itu, karena ia telah menajiskan tempat kudus Tuhan. Air pentahiran tidak ada disiramkan kepadanya, jadi ia tetap najis. Itulah yang harus menjadi ketetapan bagi mereka untuk selama-lamanya. Orang yang menyiramkan air penyuci itu, ia harus mencuci pakaiannya. Dan orang yang kena kepada air penyuci itu, ia menjadi najis sampai matahari terbenam. Segala yang diraba orang yang najis itu menjadi najis, dan orang yang kena kepadanya menjadi najis juga sampai matahari terbenam. Bilangan 20. Kemudian sampailah orang Israel, yakni segenap umat itu, ke padang gurun Sin dalam bulan pertama. Lalu tinggallah bangsa itu di Kades. Matilah Miriam di situ dan dikuburkan di situ. Pada suatu kali ketika tidak ada air bagi umat itu, berkumpullah mereka mengerumuni Musa dan Harun, dan bertengkarlah bangsa itu dengan Musa, katanya, sekiranya kami mati binasa pada waktu saudara-saudara kami mati binasa di hadapan Tuhan. Mengapa kamu membawa jemaat Tuhan ke padang gurun ini, supaya kami dan ternak kami mati di situ? Mengapa kamu memimpin kami keluar dari Mesir untuk membawa kami ke tempat celaka ini, yang bukan tempat menabur, tanpa pohon ara, anggur, dan delima, bahkan air minum pun tidak ada? Maka pergilah Musa dan Harun dari umat itu ke pintu kemah pertemuan, lalu sujud. Kemudian tampaklah kemuliaan Tuhan kepada mereka. Tuhan berfirman kepada Musa, ambillah tongkatmu itu, dan engkau dan Harun kakakmu harus menyuruh umat itu berkumpul. Katakanlah di depan mata mereka kepada bukit batu itu supaya diberi airnya. Demikianlah engkau mengeluarkan air dari bukit batu itu bagi mereka dan memberi minum umat itu serta ternaknya. Lalu Musa mengambil tongkat itu dari hadapan Tuhan, seperti yang diperintahkannya kepadanya. Ketika Musa dan Harun telah mengumpulkan jemaah itu di depan bukit batu itu, berkatalah ia kepada mereka, dengarlah kepadaku, hai orang-orang durhaka. Apakah kami harus mengeluarkan air bagimu dari bukit batu ini? Sesudah itu Musa mengangkat tangannya, lalu memukul bukit batu itu dengan tongkatnya 2 kali. Maka keluarlah banyak air, sehingga umat itu dan ternak mereka dapat minum. Tetapi Tuhan berfirman kepada Musa dan Harun, karena kamu tidak percaya kepadaku dan tidak menghormati kekudusanku di depan mata orang Israel, itulah sebabnya kamu tidak akan membawa jemaah ini masuk ke negeri yang akan kuberikan kepada mereka. Itulah mata air Meribah, tempat orang Israel bertengkar dengan Tuhan, dan ia menunjukkan kekudusannya di antara mereka. Kemudian Musa mengirim utusan dari Kades kepada Raja Edom dengan pesan, pergilah perkataan saudaramu Israel. Engkau tahu segala kesusahan yang telah menimpa kami, bahwa nenek moyang kami pergi ke Mesir dan kami lama diam di Mesir, dan kami dan nenek moyang kami diperlakukan dengan jahat oleh orang Mesir, bahwa kami berteriak kepada Tuhan, dan ia mendengarkan suara kami, mengutus seorang malaikat dan menuntun kami keluar dari Mesir. Sekarang ini kami ada di Kades. sebuah kota di tepi perbatasanmu. Izinkanlah kiranya kami melalui negerimu. Kami tidak akan berjalan melalui ladang-ladang dan kebun-kebun anggurmu, dan kami tidak akan minum air sumurmu. Jalan besar saja akan kami jalani dengan tidak menyimpang ke kanan atau ke kiri, sampai kami melalui batas daerahmu. Tetapi orang Edom berkata kepada mereka, tidak boleh kamu melalui daerah kami. Nanti kami keluar menjumpai kamu dengan pedang. Lalu berkatalah orang Israel kepadanya, kami akan berjalan melalui jalan raya, dan jika kami dan ternak kami minum airmu, maka kami akan membayar uangnya. Asal kami diizinkan lalu dengan berjalan kaki, hanya itu saja. Tetapi jawab mereka, tidak boleh kamu lalu. Maka keluarlah orang Edom menghadapi mereka dengan banyak rakyatnya dan dengan tentara yang kuat. Ketika orang Edom tidak mau mengizinkan orang Israel lalu dari daerahnya, maka orang Israel menyimpang meninggalkannya. Setelah mereka berangkat dari Kades, sampailah segenap umat Israel ke Gunung Hor. Lalu berkatalah Tuhan kepada Musa dan Harun dekat Gunung Hor di perbatasan tanah Edom. Harun akan dikumpulkan kepada kaum leluhurnya, sebab ia tidak akan masuk ke negeri yang kuberikan kepada orang Israel, karena kamu berdua telah mendurhaka kepada titahku dengan mata air Meriba. Panggillah Harun dan Eleazar anaknya, dan bawalah mereka naik ke Gunung Hor. Tanggalkanlah pakaian Harun dan kenakanlah itu kepada Eleazar anaknya. Kemudian Harun akan dikumpulkan kepada kaum leluhurnya dan mati di sana. Lalu Musa melakukan seperti yang diperintahkan Tuhan. Mereka naik ke Gunung Hor, sedang segenap umat itu memandangnya. Musa menanggalkan pakaian Harun dan mengenakannya kepada Eleazar anaknya. Lalu matilah Harun di puncak gunung itu. Kemudian Musa dengan Eleazar turun dari gunung itu. Ketika segenap umat itu melihat bahwa Harun telah mati, maka seluruh orang Israel menangisi Harun 30 hari lamanya.
Numbers 21. The Canaanite king of Arab who lived in the Negev heard that Israelites were approaching on the road through Atarim. So he attacked the Israelites and took some of them as prisoners. Then the people of Israel made this vow to the Lord: if you will hand these people over to us, we will completely destroy all their towns. The Lord heard the Israelite request and gave them victory over the Canaanites. The Israelites completely destroyed them and their towns, and the place has been called Harman ever since. Then the people of Israel set out from Mount Hor, taking the road to the Red Sea to go around the land of Edom. But the people grew impatient with the long journey, and they began to speak against God and Moses. Why have you brought us out of Egypt to die here in the wilderness? They complained, there is nothing to eat here and nothing to drink, and we hate this a horrible manna. So the Lord sent poisonous snakes among the people, and many were bitten and died. Then the people came to Moses and cried out, we have sinned by speaking against the Lord and against you. Pray that the Lord will take away the snakes. So Moses prayed for the people. Then the Lord told him, make a replica of poisonous snake and attach it to pole. All who are beaten will live if they simply look at it. So Moses made a snake out of bronze and attached it to a pole. Then anyone who was bitten by a snake could look at the bronze snake and be healed. The Israelites traveled next to Oboth and camped there. Then they went to Ebarim in the wilderness on the east border of Moab. From there, they traveled to the valley of Zered, broke, and set up camp. Then they moved out and camped on the far side of the Arnon River in the wilderness adjacent to the territory of the Amorite. The Arnon is the boundary line between the Moabite and the Amorite. For this reason, the book of the words of the Lord speaks of the town of Waheb in the area of Sufal and the ravines of the Arnon River and the ravines that extended as far as the settlement of Ar on the border of Moab. From there, the Israelites traveled to Beer, which is the well where the Lord said to Moses, "Assemble the people, and I will give them water." There the Israelites sang this song, "Spring up, O well, yes, sing its praises. Sing of this well, which princes dug, which great leaders hollowed out with their scepters and staffs." Then the Israelites left the wilderness and proceeded on through Matana, Nathaniel, and Bamoth. After that, they went to the valley in Moab, where Pisgah Peak overlooks the westland. The Israelites sent ambassadors to King Sihon of the Amorites with this message: "Let us travel through your land. We will be careful not to go through your fields and vineyards. We won't even drink water from your wells. We will stay on the king's road until we have passed through your territory." But King Sihon refused to let them cross his territory. Instead, he mobilized his entire army and attacked Israel in the wilderness, engaging them in battle at Jahaz. But the Israelites slaughtered them with their sword and occupied their land from the Arnon River to the Jabbok River. They went only as far as the Ammonite border because the boundary of the Ammonites was fortified. So Israel captured all the towns of the Amorite and settled in them, including the city of Heshbon and its surrounding villages. Heshbon had been the capital of King Sihon of the Amorite. He had defeated a former Moabite king and seized all his land as far as the Arnon River. Therefore, the ancient poets wrote this about him: "Come to Heshbon and let it be rebuilt. Let the city of Sihon be restored. A fire flamed forth from Heshbon, a blaze from the city of Sihon. It turned the city of Ar in Moab. It destroyed the rulers of the Arnon hate. What sorrow await you, O people of Moab? You are finished, O worshippers of Shemosh. Shemosh has left his sons as refugees, his daughters as captive of Sihon, the Amorite king. We have utterly destroyed them from Heshbon to Dibon. We have completely wiped them out as far away as Nophah and Medeba. So the people of Israel occupied the territory of the Amorites after Moses sent men to explore the Yazer area. They captured all the towns in the region and drove out the Amorites who lived there. Then they turned and marched up the road to Bashan, but King Og of Bashan and all his people attacked them at Edrei. The Lord said to Moses, "Do not be afraid of him, for I have handed him over to you, along with all his people and his hand. Do the same to him as you did to King Sihon of the Amorite, who ruled in Heshbon." And Israel killed King Og, his sons, and all his subjects. Not a single survivor remained. Then Israel occupied their land. Numbers 22. Then the people of Israel traveled to the plains of Moab and camped east of the Jordan River across from Jericho. Balak, son of Zippor, the Moabite king, and had seen everything the Israelites did to the Amorite. And when the people of Moab saw how many Israelites there were, they were terrified. The king of Moab said to the elders of Midian, "This mob will devour everything in sight, like an ox devours grass in the field." So Balak, king of Moab, sent messengers to call Balaam, son of Beor, who was living in his native land of Petor, near the Euphrates River. His message said, "Look, a vast horde of people has arrived from Egypt. They cover the face of the earth and are threatening me. Please come and curse them, and curse these people for me, because they are too powerful for me. Then perhaps I will be able to conquer them and drive them from the land. I know that blessings fall on any people you bless, and curses fall on people you curse." Balak's messengers, who were elders of Moab and Midian, set out with money to pay Balaam to place a curse upon Israel. They went to Balaam and delivered Balak's message to him. "Stay here overnight," Balaam said. "In the morning, I will tell you whatever the Lord directs me to say." So the officers from Moab stayed there with Balaam. That night, God came to Balaam and asked him, "Who are these men visiting you?" Balaam said to God, "Balak, son of Zippor, king of Moab, has sent me this message. Look, a vast horde of people has arrived from Egypt, and they cover the face of the earth. Come and curse these people for me. Then perhaps I will be able to stand up to them and drive them from the land." But God told Balaam, Do not go with them. You are not to curse these people, for they have been blessed. The next morning, Balaam got up and told Balak's officer, "Go on home. The Lord will not let me go with you." So the Moabite officers returned to King Balak and reported, Balaam refused to come with us. Then Balak tried again. This time he sent a larger number of even more distinguished officers than those he had sent the first time. They went to Balaam and delivered this message to him. This is what Balak, son of Zippor, says. Please don't let anything stop you from coming to help me. I will pay you very well and do whatever you tell me. Just come and curse these people for me. But Balaam responded to Balak's message. Even if Balak were to give me his palace filled with silver and gold, I would be powerless to do anything against the will of the Lord my God. But stay here one more night, and I will see if the Lord has anything else to say to me. That night God came to Balaam and told him, since these men have come for you, get up and go with them, but do only what I tell you to do. So the next morning Balaam got up, saddled his donkey, and started off with the Moabite officers. But God was angry that Balaam was going. So he sent the angel of the Lord to stand in the road to block his way. As Balaam and two servants were riding along, Balaam's donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hand. The donkey bolted off the road into a field, but Balaam beat it and turned it back onto the road. Then the angel of the Lord stood at the place where the road narrowed between two vineyard walls. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it tried to squeeze by and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall. So Balaam beat the donkey again. Then the angel of the Lord moved further down the road and stood in a place too narrow for the donkey to get by at all. This time, when the donkey saw the angel, it lay down under Balaam. In a fit of rage, Balaam beat the animal again with his staff. Then the Lord gave the donkey the ability to speak. What have I done to you that deserves your beating me 3 times? It asked Balaam. You have made me look like a fool. Balaam shouted, if I had a sword with me, I would kill you, but I am the same donkey you have ridden all your life. The donkey answered, have I ever done anything like this before? No, Balaam admitted. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the roadway with a drawn sword in his hand. Balaam bowed his head and fell face down on the ground before him. Why did you beat your donkey those 3 times? The angel of the Lord demanded. Look, I have come to block your way because you are stubbornly resisting me. 3 times the donkey saw me and shied away. Otherwise, I would certainly have killed you by now and spared the donkey. Then Balaam confessed to the angel of the Lord, I have sinned. I didn't realize you were standing in the road to block my way. I will return home if you are against my going. But the angel of the Lord told Balaam, go with this man, but say only what I tell you to say. So Balaam went on with Balak's officers. When the king Balak heard that Balaam was on the way, he went out to meet him at a Moabite town on the Arnon River at the furthest border of his land. Didn't I send you an urgent invitation. Why didn't you come right away? Balak asked Balaam. Didn't you believe me when I said I would reward you richly? Balaam replied, Look, now I have come, but I have no power to say whatever I want. I will speak only the message that God put in my mouth. Then Balaam accompanied Balak to Kiriath Huzoth, where the king sacrificed cattle and sheep. He sent portions of the meat to Balaam and the officials who were with him. The next morning, Balak took Balaam up to the Bamoth Baal. From there, he could see some of the people of Israel spread out below him. Amen.
Then Balaam said to Balak, Build 7 altars for me here, and prepare for me here 7 bulls and 7 rams. And Balak did just as Balaam had spoken. And Balaam offered a bull and a ram on each altar. Then Balaam said to Balak, Stand by your burnt offering, and I will go. Perhaps the Lord will come to meet me, and whatever he show me, I will tell you. So he went to a desolate height. And God met Balaam, and he said to him, I have prepared the 7 altars, and I have offered on each altar a bull and a ram. And then the Lord put a word in Balaam's mouth and said, Return to Balak, and thus you shall speak. So he returned to him, and there he was, standing by his burnt offering, he and all the princes of Moab. And he took up his oracle and said, Balak, the king of Moab, he has brought me from Aram, from the mountains of the east. Come, curse Jacob for me, and come, denounce Israel. How shall I curse whom God has not cursed? And how shall I denounce whom the Lord has not denounced? For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. There, a people dwelling alone, not reckoning itself among the nation. Who can count the dust of Jacob? Or number 1/4 of Israel. Let me die the death of the righteous, and let my end be like his. Then Balak said to Balaam, What have you done to me? I took you to curse my enemies, and look, you have blessed them bountifully. So he answered and said, Must I not take heed to speak what the Lord has put in my mouth? Then Balak said to him, Please come with me to another place from which you may see them. You shall see only the other part of them, and shall not see them all. Shall not see them all. Curse them for me from there. So he brought him to the field of Sophim, to the top of Pisgah, and built 7 altars, and offered a bull and a ram on each altar. And he said to Balak, Stand here by your burnt offering while I meet the Lord over there. Then the Lord met Balaam and put a word in his mouth and said,
Go back to Balak, and thus you shall speak. So he came to him, and there he was, standing by his burnt offering, and the princes of Moab were with him. And Balak said to him, What has the Lord spoken? And he took up his oracle and said, Rise up, Balak, and here listen to me, and son of Ziphor. God is not a man that he should lie, nor a son of man that he should repent. He has said, and he will not do. Or has he spoken, and he will not make it good? Behold, I have received a command to bless. He has blessed, and I cannot reverse it. He has not observed iniquity in Jacob, nor has he sent wickedness in Israel. The Lord his God is with him, and the shout of a king is among them. God brings them out of Egypt, and he has strength like a wild ox. For there is no sorcery against Jacob, nor any divination against Israel. It now must be said of Jacob and of Israel, oh, what God has done. Look at a people rise like a lioness, and lift itself like a lion. It shall not lie down until they devour the prey, and drinks the blood of the slain. Then Balak said to Balaam, Neither curse them or all, nor bless them at all. So Balaam answered and said to Balak, Did I not tell you, saying, All that the Lord speak that I must do? Then Balak said to Balaam, Please come, I will take you to another place. Perhaps it will please God that you may curse them for me from there. So Balak took Balaam to the top of the Peor that overlooks the wasteland. Then Balaam said to Balak, Build for me here 7 altars and prepare for me here 7 bulls and 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam had said, and offered a bull and a ram on every altar. Now, when Balaam saw that it pleased the Lord to bless Israel, he did not go as the other times to seek to use sorcery, but he set his face toward the wilderness. And Balaam raised his eyes and saw Israel is camp, according to their tribes, and the Spirit of God come upon him. Then he took up his oracle and said, The utterance of Balaam, the son of Bor, and the utterance of the man whose eyes are open, the utterance of him who hears the words of God, who sees the vision of the Almighty, who falls down with eyes wide open. How lovely are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel, like a valleys that stretch out, like gardens by the riverside, like aloes planted by the Lord, like cedar beside the water. He shall pour water from the bucket, and his seed shall be in many waters. His king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. God brings him out of Egypt. He has strength like a wild ox. He shall consume the nation his enemies, and he shall break their bones, and pierce them with his arrow. He bow down, he lies down as a lion, and as a lion who shall rouse him. Blessed is who blesses you, and cursed is he who curses you. Then Balak anger was aroused against Balaam, and he struck his hand together, and Balak said to Balaam, I call you to curse my enemies, and look, you have bountifully blessed them 3 times. Now, therefore, plead to your place. I said, I would greatly honor you, but in fact, the Lord has kept you back from honor. So Balaam said to Balak, Did I not also speak to your messenger who you sent to me, saying, if Balak were to give me his house full of silver and gold, I could not go beyond the word of the Lord, to do good or bad of my own will. What the Lord say, that I must speak. And now indeed I am going to my people. Come, I will advise you what these people will do to your people in the later days. So he took up his oracle and said, the utterance of Balaam and the son of Bor, and the utterance of the man whose eyes are open, the utterance of him who hears the words of God and has the knowledge of the Most High. Who sees the vision of the Almighty, who falls down with eyes wide open. I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. A star shall come out of Jacob, as a scripture shall rise out of Israel, and batter the brow of the Moab, and destroy all the sons of turmoil. The Edom shall be a possession, Seir also is his enemy. His enemy shall be a possession, while Israel does not valiantly. Out of Jacob one shall have dominion, and destroy the remains of the city. Then he looked on Amalek, and he took up his oracle and said, Amalek was the first among the nation, but shall be last until he perish. Then he looked on the Kenites, and he took up his oracle and said, Firm is your dwelling place, and your nest is set in the rock. Nevertheless, Cain shall be burned. How long until Ashur carries you away captive? Then he took up his oracle and said, Alas, who shall live when God does this? But ships shall come from the coast of Cyprus, and they shall conflict Ashur and afflict Aber, and so shall Amalek until the perish. So Balaam rose and departed and returned to his place. Balak also went his way.
Numbers chapter 25. When Israel lived in Shittim, the people began to commit sexual immorality with the daughters of Moab. This woman invited the people to the sacrifice of their gods. Then the people ate and bowed down to their gods. When Israel joined themselves, Baal Peor, the anger of the Lord flared up against Israel. The Lord It is on. It is on. The Lord said to Moses, arrest all the leaders of the people and hang them up before the Lord in broad daylight, so that the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel. So Moses said to the judges of Israel, each of you must execute those of his men who were joined to Baal Peor. Just then one of the Israelites came and brought to his brothers a Midianite woman in the plain with view of Moses and of the whole community of the Israelites, while they were weeping at the entrance of the tent of meeting. When Phinehas, son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, saw it, he got up from among the assembly, took a javelin in his hand, and went after the Israelite men into the tent and thrust through the Israelite men and into the woman's abdomen. So the plague was stopped from the Israelites. Those that died in the plague were 24,000. The Lord spoke to Moses, Phinehas, son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, has turned my anger away from the Israelites when he manifested such zeal for my sake among them, so that I did not consume the Israelites in my zeal. Therefore announce, I am going to give to him my covenant of peace. So it will be to him and his descendant after him a covenant of a permanent priesthood, because he has been zealous for his God and has made atonement for the Israelites. Now the name of the Israelite who was stabbed, then the one who was stabbed with the Midianite woman, was Zimri, son of Salu, a leader of a clan of the Simonite. The name of the Midianite woman who was killed was Cosbi, daughter of Zur. He was a leader of the people of a clan of Midian. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, bring trouble to the Midianites and destroy them, because they bring trouble to you by their treachery, with which they have deceived you in the matter of Peor, and in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of a prince of Midian, their sister, who was killed on the day of the plague that happened as a result of Peor. Number 26. After the plague of the Lord said to Moses and Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, take a census of the whole community of Israelite, from 20 years old and upward by their clan, everyone who can serve in the army of Israel. So Moses and Eleazar, the priest, spoke with them in the plain of Moab. By the Jordan River cross from Jericho, they said, number the people from 20 years old and upward, just as the Lord commanded Moses and the Israelites who went out from the land of Egypt. Reuben was the firstborn of Israel, the Reubenite from Enoch, the family of the Henoshite, from Palu, the family of Paluite, from Hezron, the family of Hezronite, from Carmi, the family of the Carmite. These were the family of the Reubenite, and those number of them were 43,730. Paul's descendant was Eliab. Eliab's descendant was Nemuel, Dathan, and Abiram. It was Dathan and Abiram who, as leaders of the community, rebelled against Moses and Aaron with the follower of Korah when they rebelled against the Lord. The earth opened its mouth and swallowed them and Korah at the time that company died, when the fire consumed 250 men. So they became a warning, but the descendant of Korah did not die. The Simeonite by their families from Nemuel, and the family of the Nemuelite from Jamin, the family of the Jaminite from Jachin, the family of the Jachinite, from Zerah, the family of Zerahite, and from Saul, the family of the Saulite. This was the family of the Simonite, 22,200. The Gadite by their family from Sepon, the family of the Seponite, from Hagi, the family of Haggite, from Shuni, the family of Shunite, from Osni, the family of the Osnite, from Eri, the family of the Erite, from Arad, the family of Aradite, and from Areli, the family of the Arelite. These were the family of the Gadite according to this number of them, for 40,500. The descendants of Judah were Er and Onan, but Er and Onan died in the land of Canaan, and the Judite by their family were from Selah, the family of the Selahite, from Perez, the family of the Perezite, and from Zerah, the family of Zerahite. And the Perezite were from Hezron, the family of the Hezronite, from Hamul, the family of Hamulites. These were the families of Judah according to this number of them, 76,500. There is Issacharite by the families from Tola, the family of Tolite, from Puah, the family of Puite, from Jasub, the family of Jasubites, and from Simron, the family of the Simronites. These were the family of Issachar according to this number of them, 64,300. The Zebulonite by their families, from Zerah, the family of Zardite, from Elon, the family of the Elonites, from Zahlil, the family of the Zahlilite. These were the family of the Zebulunite according to those numbers of them, 60,500. The descendants of Joseph by their families, Manasseh and Ephraim. The Manasseh side from Machir, the family of the Machirite. Now Machir became the father of Gilead. From Gilead, the family of Gileadite. These were the Gileadite from Lesser, the family of Lesserite. From Helek, the family of Helekite. From Asriel, the family of the Asrielite. From Shechem, the family of Shechemites. From Semida, the family of the Semidite. From Heber, the family of the Heberites. Now Zelophehad, son of Heber, had no son, but only daughters. And the name of the daughters of Zelophehad were Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. These were the family of Manasseh. Those number of them were 52,700. These are the Ephraimites by their families. From Sutela, the family of the Sutelahite. From Becher, the family of the Becherite. From Tahan, the family of the Tahanite. Now these were the Sutelahites. From Aaron, the family of the Aaronite. These were the family of the Ephraimites. According to this number of them, 32,500. These were the descendants of Joseph by their families. The Benjaminite by their families, from Bela, the family of the Belite. From Asbel, the family of the Asbelite. From Ahiram, the family of the Ahiramite. From Supam, the family of the Supamite. From Hupam, the family of the Hupamite. The descendants of Bela were Ard and Naaman. From Ard, the family of the Ardite. From Naaman, the family of the Naamite. These are the Benjaminite according to their families, and according to those numbers of them, 45,600. These are the Danites by their families. From Sucham, the family of the Suchamite. These were the family of Dan according to their families, and all the families of the Suhanite according to this number of them were 64,400. The Asherite by their families, from Imnah, the family of the Imnahnite, from Isvi, the family of the Isvite, from Berian, the family of the Beriahites, from the Beriahites, from Heber, the family of the Hebrite, from Malkiel, the family of the Malkielite. Now the name of the daughter of Asher was Sarah. These are the families of the Asherite, according to this number of them, 53,400. The Naphtalites by their families, from Zahzil, the family of the Zahzilite, from Guni, the family of the Gunite, from Seser, the family of the Seserite, from Silem, the family of Silemites. These were the family of Naphtali according to their families. Then this number of them were 45,400. This was those number of the Israelites, 601,730. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, to those the land must be divided as an inheritance according to the number of the name. To a larger group you will give a larger inheritance, and to a smaller group you will give a smaller inheritance. To each one its inheritance must be given according to the number of the people in it. The land must be divided by lot, and they will inherit in accordance with the name of their ancestral tribes. Their inheritance must be apportioned by lot among the larger and smaller group. And these are the Levites who were numbered according to their families. From Gesron, the family of the Gesronite, and Kohath, the family of the Kohathite. From Merari, the family of the Merarite. These are the family of the Levite, and the family of the Libnite, the family of the Hebronite, the family of the Mahlite, the family of the Musites, the family of the Korasite. Kohath became the father of Amram. Now the name of Amram's wife was Jochebed, daughter of Levi, who was born to Levi in Egypt, and to Amram she bore Aaron, Moses, and Miriam, their sister. And to Aaron were born Nadab and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. But Nadab and Abihu died when they overstrained fire before the Lord. And those of them who were numbered were 23,000, all male from a month old and upward. For there were not number among the Israelites, no inheritance was given to them among the Israelites. These are those who were numbered by Moses and Eleazar, the priests who numbered the Israelites in the plain of Moab, along the Jordan River, opposite Jericho. But there was no a man among these who had been among those numbered by Moses and Aaron, the priests, when they numbered the Israelites in the wilderness of Sinai. For the Lord had said to them, they will surely die in the wilderness, and there were not left a single man of them except Caleb son of Jephunneh and Joshua son of Nun. Numbers chapter 27. Then the daughter of Zelophehad, son of Heber, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of Manasseh, the son Joseph, came forward. Now these are the name of his daughter, Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. And they stood before Moses and Eleazar, the priests and the leaders of the whole assembly, at the entrance to the tent of meeting and said, "Our father died in the wilderness, although he was not part of the company of those that gathered themselves together against the Lord in the company of Korah, but he died for his own sin. He had no son. Why should the name of our father be lost from among his family because he had no son? Give us a possession among the relative of our father." So Moses brought their case before the Lord. The Lord said to Moses, "The daughter of Zelophehad have a valid claim. You must indeed give them possession of an inheritance among their father's relative, and you must transfer the inheritance of their father to them. And you must tell the Israelite, if a man dies and has no son, then you must give inheritance to his daughter. If he And if he has no brothers, then you are to give his inheritance to his father's brothers. And if his father has no brothers, then you are to give his inheritance to his relative nearest to him from his family, and he will possess it. This will be for the Israelite a legal requirement, as the land commanded Moses. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Go up this mountain of the Abarim range and see the land I have given to the Israelites. When you have seen it, you will be gathered to you ancestor, as Aaron your brother was gathered to his ancestor. For in the wilderness of sin, when the community rebelled against me, you rebel against my command to show me as holy before their eyes over the water of Meribah in Kadesh, in the wilderness of sin." Then Moses spoke to the Lord, "Let the Lord, the God of the spirit of all humankind, appoint a man over the community who will go out before them and who will come in before them and who will lead them out and who will bring them in, so that the community of the Lord may not be like sheep that have no shepherd." The Lord replied to Moses, "Take Joshua son of Nun, a man in whom is such a spirit, and lay your hand on him. Set him before Eleazar the priest and before the whole community, and commission him publicly. Then you must delegate some of your authority to him, so that the whole community of the Israelites will be obedient. And he will stand before Eleazar the priest, who will seek counsel for him before the Lord by the decision of the Urim. And at his command, they will go out, and at his command, they will come in, he and all the Israelites with him, the whole community." So Moses did as the Lord commanded him. He took Joshua and set him before Eleazar the priest and before the whole community. He laid him hand on him and commissioned him just as the Lord commanded by the authority of Moses. Numbers chapter 28. The Lord spoke to Moses, "Command the Israelites with regard to my offering, be sure to offer my food for my offering made by fire as a pleasing aroma to me at its appointed time. You will say to them, this is the offering made by fire which you must offer to the Lord, to unblemished lamb, 1 year old, each day for continual burnt offering. The first lamb you must offer in the morning, and the second lamb you must offer in the late afternoon, with 1/10 of an ephah of finely ground flour of as a grain offering, mixed with 1/4 of an hin of fresh olive oil. It is a continual burnt offering that was instituted on Mount Sinai as a pleasing aroma, an offering made by fire to the Lord. And its drink offering must be 1/4 of a hin for each lamb. You must pour out the strong drink as a drink offering to the Lord in the holy place. And the second lamb you must offer in the late afternoon, just as you offer the grain offering and drink offering in the morning. You must offer it as an offering made by fire, as a pleasing aroma to the Lord. On the Sabbath day, you must offer 2 unblemished lambs a year old, and 2/10 of an ephah of finely ground flour as a grain offering mixed with olive oil, along with its drink offering. This is the burnt offering for every Sabbath, beside the continual burnt offering and its drink offering. On the first day of each month, you must offer as a burnt offering to the Lord 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 unblemished lambs a year old, with 3/10 of an ephah of finely ground flour mixed with olive oil as a grain offering for each bull, and 2/10 of an ephah of finely ground flour mixed with olive oil as a grain offering for the ram, and 1/10 of the ephah of finely ground flour mixed with olive oil as a grain offering for each lamb, as a burnt offering for a pleasing aroma, an offering made by fire to the Lord. For their drink offerings include half of a hin of wine with each bull, 1/3 of a hin for the ram, and 1/4 of a hin for each lamb. This is the burnt offering for each month through the months of the year. And 1 male goat must be offered to the Lord as a purification offering in addition to the continual burnt offering and its drink offering. On the 14th day of the first month is the Lord's Passover, and on the 15th day of this month is the festival. For 7 days bread made without yeast must be eaten. And on the first day there is to be a holy assembly. You must do no ordinary work on it, but you must offer to the Lord an offering made by fire, a burnt offering of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 lambs 1 year old. They must all be unblemished, and their grain offering is to be in finely ground flour mixed with olive oil. For each bull you must offer 3/10 of an ephah, and 2/10 for the ram. For each of the 7 lambs you are to offer 1/10 of an ephah, as well as 1 goat for a purification offering to make atonement for you. You must offer this in addition to burnt offering in the morning, which is for a continual burnt offering. In this manner you must offer daily throughout the 7 days the food of the sacrifice made by fire as a sweet aroma to the Lord. It is to be offered in addition to the continual burnt offering and its drink offering. On the 7th day you are to have a holy assembly. You must do no regular work. Also, on the day of the first fruit, when you bring a new grain offering to the Lord during your feast of weeks, you are to have a holy assembly. You must do no ordinary work, but you must offer as the burnt offering, as a sweet aroma to the Lord, 2 young bulls, 1 ram, 7 lambs 1 year old, with their grain offering of finely ground flour mixed with olive oil, 3/10 of an ephah for each bull, 2/10 for the 1 ram, with 1/10 of each of the 7 lambs, as well as 1 male goat to make an atonement for you. you are to offer them with their drink offering in addition to the continual burnt offering and each grain offering. They must be unblemished. Amen.
Numbers 29. On the first day of the 7th month, hold a sacred assembly and do no regular work. It is a day for you to sound the trumpets. As an aroma pleasing to the Lord, offer a burnt offering of 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bull, offer a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with olive oil, with the ram 2/10, and with each of the 7 lambs 1/10. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering to make atonement for you. These are in addition to the monthly and daily burnt offerings with their grain offerings and drink offerings as specified. They are food offerings presented to the Lord, a pleasing aroma. On the 10th day of the 7th month, hold a sacred assembly. You must deny yourselves and do no work. Present as an aroma pleasing to the Lord a burnt offering of 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bull, offer a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with oil, with the ram 2/10. And with each of the 7 lambs 1/10, include 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the sin offering for atonement and the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and their drink offerings. On the 15th day of the 7th month, hold a sacred assembly and do no regular work. Celebrate a festival to the Lord for 7 days. Present as an aroma pleasing to the Lord a food offering consisting of a burnt offering of 13 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With each of the 13 bulls, offer a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with oil, with each of the 2 rams 2/10, and with each of the 14 lambs 1/10. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 2nd day, offer 12 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, offer the grain offerings and drink offerings according to the number specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and their drink offerings. On the 3rd day, offer 11 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, offer their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the number specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 4th day, offer 10 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, offer their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the number specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 5th day, offer 9 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, offer their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the number specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 6th day, offer 8 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, offer their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the number specified. Include one male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the seventh day, offer 7 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, offer their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the number specified. Include one male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the eighth day, hold a closing special assembly and do no regular work. Present as an aroma pleasing to the Lord a food offering consisting of a burnt offering of 1 bull, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bull, the ram, and the lamb, offer their grain offerings and grain offerings according to the number specified. Include one male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. In addition to what you vow and your free will offerings, offer these to the Lord at your appointed festivals, your burnt offerings, grain offerings, drink offerings, and fellowship offerings. Moses told the Israelites all that the Lord commanded him. Numbers 29. On the first day of the seventh month, oh no, 30. One second. Numbers. Numbers 30. Moses said to the heads of the tribes of Israel, "This is what the Lord commands. When a man makes a vow to the Lord or takes an oath to obligate himself by a pledge, he must not break his word, but must do everything he said. When a young woman still living in her father's household makes a vow to the Lord or obligates herself by a pledge, and her father hears about her vow or pledge but says nothing to her, then all her vows and every pledge by which she obligated herself will stand. But if her father forbids her when he hears about it, none of her vows or the pledges by which she obligated herself will stand. The Lord will release her because her father has forbidden her. If she marries after she makes a vow or after her lips utter a rash promise by which she obligates herself, and her husband hears about it but says nothing to her, then her vows or the pledges by which she obligated herself will stand. But if her husband forbids her, when he hears about it, he nullifies the vow that obligates her or the rash promise by which she obligates herself, and the Lord will release her. Any vow or obligation taken by a widow or divorced woman will be binding on her. If a woman living with her husband makes a vow or obligates herself by a pledge under oath, and her husband hears about it but says nothing to her and does not forbid her, then all her vows or the pledges by which she obligated herself will stand. But if her husband nullifies them when he hears about them, then none of the vows or pledges that came from her lips will stand. Her husband has nullified them, and the Lord will release her. Her husband may confirm or nullify any vows she makes or any sworn pledges to deny herself. But if her husband says nothing to her about it from day to day, then he confirms all her vows or the pledges binding on her. He confirms them by saying nothing to her when he hears about them. If, however, he nullifies them sometime after he hears about them, then he must bear the consequences of her wrongdoing. These are the regulations the Lord gave Moses concerning relationships between a man and his wife, and between a father and his young daughter still living at home.
Numbers chapter 31. సంఖ్యాకాండం 31వ అధ్యాయం. మరియు యెహోవా మిద్యానీయులు ఇశ్రాయేలీయులకు చేసిన హింసకు ప్రతిహింస చేయుడి. తరువాత నీవు నీ స్వజనుల యొద్దకు చేర్చబడదు అని మోషేకు సెలవేయగా, మోషే ప్రజలతో మీలో కొందరు యుద్ధ సన్నద్ధులై మిద్యానీయుల మీదకి పోయి మిద్యానీయులకు యెహోవా విధించిన ప్రతిదండన చేయనట్లు ఇశ్రాయేలీయుల గోత్రములన్నిటిలో ప్రతి గోత్రములో నుండి 1000 మందిని ఆ యుద్ధములకు పంపవలెను. అట్లు గోత్రం ఒక్కటికి 1000 మంది చొప్పున ఇశ్రాయేలీయుల సేవలో నుండి 12,000 యుద్ధ వీరులు ఏర్పరచబడగా, మోషే వారిని అనగా ప్రతి గోత్రం నుండి 1000 మందిని యాజకుడగు ఎలియాజరు కుమారుడైన పీనహేనును పంపెను. అతని చేతుల నుండి పరిశుద్ధమైన ఉపకరణములను ఊదుటకు బోరలను యుద్ధమునకు పంపెను. యెహోవా మోషేకు ఆజ్ఞాపించినట్లు వారు మిద్యానీయులతో యుద్ధం చేసి మగవారినందరినీ చంపిరి. చంపబడిన ఇతరులు కాక మిద్యాను రాజులను అనగా మిద్యానును 5 రాజులైన ఎవిని, రేకెమును, సూరును, హూరును, రేబానును చంపిరి. బేయోరు కుమారుడైన బేలామును ఖడ్గముతో చంపిరి. అప్పుడు ఇశ్రాయేలీయులు మిద్యానీయుల స్త్రీలను వారి చిన్నపిల్లలను చెరపట్టుకుని వారి సమస్త పశువులను వారి గొర్రె మేకలన్నిటినీ వారికి కలిగినది యావత్తును దోచుకునిరి. మరియు వారి నివాస పట్టణములన్నిటినీ వారి కోటలన్నిటినీ అగ్ని చేత కాల్చివేసిరి. వారు మనుషులనేమి పశువులనేమి సమస్తమైన కొల్ల సొమ్మును మిద్యానీయుల ఆస్తిని యావత్తును తీసుకునిరి. తరువాత వారు మోయాబు మైదానములో యెరికో యొద్దనున్న యొర్దాను దగ్గర దిగియున్న దండులో మోషే యొద్దకు యాజకుడైన ఎలియాజరు నొద్దకును ఇశ్రాయేలీయుల సమాజం నొద్దకును చెరపట్టబడిన వారిని అపహరణములను ఆ కొల్ల సొమ్మును తీసుకుని రాగా, మోషేయు యాజకుడైన ఎలియాజరును సమాజ ప్రధానులందరూ వారి ఎదుర్కొనుటకు పాళెము నుండి వెలుపలకు వెళ్ళిరి. అప్పుడు మోషే యుద్ధ సేవలో నుండి వచ్చిన సహస్రాధిపతులను శతాధిపతులకు సేనాయకుల మీద కోపపడెను. మోషే వారితో, మీరు ఆడవారినందరినీ బ్రతకనిచ్చిదిరా? ఇదిగో బీలాము మాటను బట్టి పెయోరు విషయంలో ఇశ్రాయేలీయుల చేత యెహోవా మీద తిరుగుబాటు చేయించిన వారు వీరు కారా? అందుచేత యెహోవా సమాజంలో తెగులు పుట్టియుండెను గదా. కాబట్టి మీరు పిల్లలలో ప్రతి మగవాణ్ణి పురుష సంయోగము ఎరిగిన ప్రతి స్త్రీని చంపుడి. పురుష సంయోగము ఎరగని ఆ ప్రతి ఆడపిల్లను మీ నిమిత్తము బ్రతకనీయుడి. మీరు 7 దినములు పాళెము వెలుపల ఉండవలను. మీలో నరుని చంపిన ప్రతి వాడును, చంపబడిని నరుని ముట్టిన ప్రతి వాడును, మీరును మీరు చెరపట్టిన వారును 3వ దినమున 7వ దినమున మిమ్ముని మీరే పవిత్రపరుచుకొనవలెను. మీరు బట్టలన్నిటినీ, చర్మ వస్తువులన్నిటినీ, మేక వెంట్రుకల వస్తువులన్నిటినీ, కొయ్య వస్తువులన్నిటినీ పవిత్రపరచవలెను. అప్పుడు యాజకుడగు ఎలియాజరు యుద్ధమునకు పోయిన సైనికులలో యెహోవా మోషేకు ఆజ్ఞాపించిన విధి ఏదనగా, మీరు బంగారును, వెండిని, ఇత్తడిని, ఇనుమును, తగరమును, సీసమును అనగా అగ్ని చేత చెడని సమస్త వస్తువులను మాత్రము అగ్నిలో వేసి తీయవలెను. అప్పుడు అవి పవిత్రమగును. అయితే పాప పరిహార జలము చేత వాటిని పవిత్రపరచవలెను. అగ్ని చేత చెడినట్టి ప్రతి వస్తువును నీళ్లతో వేసి తీయవలెను. 7వ దినమున మీరు బట్టలు ఉదుకుని పవిత్రులైన తరువాత పాళెంలోనికి రావచ్చునను. మరియు యెహోవా మోషేకు ఇలాగు సెలవిచ్చెను, నీవు యాజకుడైన ఎలియాజరును సమాజం యొక్క పితరుల కుటుంబంలో ప్రధానులను, మనుషులలోనేమి పశువులలోనేమి చెరపట్టబడిన దోపుడు సొమ్ము మొత్తము లెక్కించి 2 భాగములుగా చేసి యుద్ధమునకు పూనుకుని సేనగా బయలుదేరిన వారికి సగము సర్వ సమాజమునకు సగము పంచిపెట్టవలను. మరియు సేనగా బయలుదేరిన యూదుల మీద యెహోవాకు పన్ను కట్టి ఆ మనుషులలోను పశువులలోను గాడిదలలోను గొర్రె మేకలలోను 500కు ఒకటి చొప్పున వారి సగములో నుండి తీసుకుని యెహోవాకు ప్రతిష్ఠార్పణముగా యాజకుడైన ఎలియాజరుకు ఇవ్వవలెను. మనుషులలోను పశువుల్లోను గాడిదలలోను గొర్రె మేకలలోను సమస్త విధముల జంతువులలోను 50కి ఒకటి చొప్పున ఇశ్రాయేలీయుల సగములో నుండి తీసుకుని యెహోవా మందిరమును కాపాడు లేవీయులకు ఇవ్వవలెను. యెహోవా మోషేకు ఆజ్ఞాపించినట్లు మోషేయు యాజకుడైన ఎలియాజరు చేసిరి. ఆ దోపుడు సొమ్ము అనగా ఆ సైనికులు కొల్లపెట్టిన సొమ్ములో మిగిలినది 6,75,000 గొర్రె మేకలను, 72,000 పశువులను, 61,000 గాడిదలను, 32,000 మంది పురుష సంయోగమెరిగిన స్త్రీలను, అందులో 6వ వంతు అనగా సైన్యముగా పోయిన వారు వంతు గొర్రె మేకలు లెక్క ఎంతనగా 3,37,500. ఆ గొర్రె మేకలను యెహోవాకు చెల్లవలసిన పన్ను 675. పశువులను 36,000, వాటిలో యెహోవా పన్ను 72. ఆ గాడిదలు 35,500, వాటిలో యెహోవా పన్ను 61. మనుషులు 16,000 మంది, వారిలో యెహోవా పన్ను 32. యెహోవా మోషేకు ఆజ్ఞాపించినట్లు మోషే పన్నును అనగా యెహోవాకు చెల్లవలసిన ప్రతిష్ఠార్పణము యాజకుడైన ఎలియాజరుకిచ్చెను. సైనికుల యొద్ద మోషే తీసుకున్న ఇశ్రాయేలీయులకిచ్చిన సగం నుండి లేవీయులకిచ్చెను. 3,37,500 గొర్రె మేకలను, 36,000 గోవులను, 30,500 గాడిదలను, 14,000 మంది మనుష్యులను సమాజమునకు కలిగిన సగమయ్యుండగా మోషే ఇశ్రాయేలీయులతో వచ్చిన ఆ సగం నుండి మనుషులలోని జంతువులలోను 50కి ఒకటి చొప్పున తీసి యెహోవా మోషేకు ఆజ్ఞాపించినట్లు యెహోవా మందిరమున కాపాడు లేవీయులకిచ్చెను. అప్పుడు సేన సహస్రాసములను నియామకులను అనగా సహస్రాధిపతులను శతాధిపతులను మోషే యొద్దకు వచ్చి, నీ సేవకులమైన మేము మా చేతి క్రింద నున్న యోధులను లెక్కించి మొత్తము చేసితిమి. మాలో ఒక్కడైనను మొత్తమునకు తక్కువ కాలేదు. కాబట్టి యెహోవా సన్నిధిని మా నిమిత్తము ప్రాయశ్చిత్తము కలుగునట్లు మేము మాలో ప్రతి మనుషునికి దొరికిన బంగారు నగలను, గొలుసులను, కడియములను, ఉంగరములను, పోగులను, పతకములను యెహోవాకు అర్పణగా తెచ్చియున్నాము. మోషేయు యాజకుడైన ఎలియాజరు నగలుగా చేయబడిన ఆ బంగారము వారి యొద్ద తీసుకుని సహస్రాధిపతులను శతాధిపతులను ప్రతిష్ఠార్పణముగా యెహోవాకు అర్పించి బంగారమంతయు 16,750 తులములు. ఆ సైనికులలో ప్రతివాడును తన మట్టుకు తాను కొల్ల సొమ్ము తెచ్చుకుని ఉండెను. అప్పుడు మోషేయు యాజకుడైన ఎలియాజరు సహస్రాధిపతుల యొద్దకు నుండి శతాధిపతుల యొద్ద నుండి ఆ బంగారము తీసుకుని యెహోవా సన్నిధిన ఇశ్రాయేలీయులకు జ్ఞాపకార్థముగా ప్రత్యక్ష గుడారమందు ఉంచిరి. నంబర్స్ చాప్టర్ 32 బిగినింగ్. రూబేనీయులకును గాదీయులకును అతి విస్తారమైన మందులుండెను గనుక యాజేరు ప్రదేశమును గీలాదు ప్రదేశమును మందులకు తగిన స్థలమని తెలుసుకుని వారు వచ్చి మోషే యాజకులకు ఎలియాజరును సమాజ ప్రధానులతోనూ ఆతారోతు, దీబోను, యాజేరు, నిమ్రాను, షిబ్మోను, ఎలాలే, షేబాము, నోబు, బోయోను అను స్థలములు అనగా ఇశ్రాయేలీయుల సమాజము ఎదుట యెహోవా జయించిన దేశము మనందరికీ తగిన ప్రదేశము. నీ సేవకులమైన మాకు మందలు కలవు. కాబట్టి మా ఎడల నీకు కటాక్షము కలిగి నీ ఎడల మమ్మల్ని యొర్దాను అద్దరికి దాటిప్పక నీ దాసులమైన మాకు ఈ దేశమును స్వాస్థ్యముగా ఇమ్మని మోషే గాదీయులతోనూ రూబేనీయులతోనూ మీ సహోదరుల యుద్ధమునకు పోవుచుండగా మీరు ఇక్కడ కూర్చుండవచ్చునా? యెహోవా ఇశ్రాయేలీయులకిచ్చిన దేశమునకు వారు వెళ్ళక ఉండునట్లు మీరేలా వారి హృదయములను అధైర్యపరచుదురు? ఆ దేశమును చూచుటకు కాదేశు బర్నేయాలో నుండి మీ తండ్రులు నేను పంపినప్పుడు వారును అలాగ చేసిరి కదా. వారు ఎష్కోలో లోయలోకి వెళ్ళి ఆ దేశమును చూచి ఇశ్రాయేలీయుల హృదయమును అధైర్యపరిచిరి గనుక యెహోవా తమకిచ్చిన దేశంలోకి వారు వెళ్ళలేకపోయిరి. ఆ దినమున యెహోవా కోపము రగులుకొని 20 ఏండ్లు మొదలుకొని పైప్రాయము కలిగిన ఐగుప్తు దేశం నుండి వచ్చిన మనుషులలో పూర్ణ మనసుతోనూ యెహోవాను అనుసరించిని కెనజీయుడకు యెఫ్నే కుమారుడైన కాలేబు, నూను కుమారుడైన యెహోషువయు తప్ప మరి ఎవడునూ పూర్ణ మనసుతోనూ నన్ను అనుసరింపలేదు గనుక నేను అబ్రహామును, ఇస్సాకును, యాకోబులకు ప్రమాణపూర్వకంగా ఇచ్చిన దేశంలోకి వారిని తప్ప మరి ఎవరునూ చూడరని ప్రమాణం చేసెను. అప్పుడు యెహోవా కోపము ఇశ్రాయేలీయుల మీద రగులుకొనగా యెహోవా దృష్టికి చెడుతనము నడిచిన ఆ తరము వారందరూ నశించే వరకు అరణ్యములో 40 ఏండ్లు ఆయన వారిని తిరుగులాడ చేసెను. ఇప్పుడు ఇశ్రాయేలీయులలో ఎడల యెహోవాకు కోపం మరి ఎక్కువగా పుట్టినట్లు ఆ పాపులు సంతానమైన మీరు మీ తండ్రులకు ప్రతిగా బయలుదేరి ఉన్నారు. మీరు ఆయనను అనుసరింపక వెనుకకు మళ్ళిన ఎడల ఆయన ఈ అరణ్యంలో జనులను ఇంకా నిల్వ చేయును. అట్లు మీరు సర్వ సమాజమును నశింపచేసిదెను. అందుకు వారు అతని యుద్ధకు వచ్చి, మేము ఇక్కడ మా మందుల కొరకు దొడ్లను, మా పిల్లల కొరకు పురములను కట్టుకొందుము. ఇశ్రాయేలీయులను వారి వారి స్థలములకును చేర్చు వరకు మేము వారి ముందర యుద్ధమునకు సిద్ధపడి సాగుదుము. అయితే మా పిల్లలు ఈ దేశ నివాసులు భయము చేత ప్రాకారము గల పురములలో నివసింపవలను. ఇశ్రాయేలీయులలో ప్రతివాడును తన స్వాస్థ్యమును పొందు వరకు మా ఇండ్లకు తిరిగిరాము. తూర్పు దిక్కున యొర్దాను యువతల మాకు స్వాస్థ్యము దొరికిన గనుక యొర్దాను అవతల దూరముగా వారితో స్వాస్థ్యము పొందెను. అప్పుడు మోషే వారితో, మీరు మీ మాట మీద నిలిచి యెహోవా సన్నిధిని యుద్ధమునకు సిద్ధపడి యెహోవా తన ఎదుట నుండి తన శత్రువులు వెళ్ళగొట్టు వరకు యెహోవా సన్నిధిని మీరందరూ యుద్ధ సన్నద్ధులై యొర్దాను అవతలికి వెళ్ళిన ఎడల ఆ దేశమున యెహోవా సన్నిధిన జయింపబడిన తర్వాత మీరు తిరిగి వచ్చి యెహోవా దృష్టికిను ఇశ్రాయేలీయుల దృష్టికిను నిర్దోషులై యుందురు. అప్పుడు ఈ దేశము యెహోవా సన్నిధిని మీకు స్వాస్థ్యమగును. మీరు అట్లు చేయని ఎడల యెహోవా దృష్టికి పాపం చేసిన వారగుదురు. కనుక మీరు మీ పాపమును మిమ్మును పట్టుకొనును అని తెలిసి కొనుడి. మీరు మీ పిల్లల కొరకు పురములు, మీ మందల కొరకు దొడ్లను కట్టుకొని మీ నోట నుండి వచ్చిన మాట చొప్పున చేయడనెను. అందుకు గాదీయులు, రూబేనీయులు మోషేతో, మా ఏలినవాడ ఆజ్ఞాపించినట్లు నీ దాసులమైన మేము చేసేదము. మా పిల్లలు, మా భార్యలు, మా మందలు, మా సమస్త పశువులు అక్కడ గీలాదు పురములో ఉండును. నీ దాసులమైన మేము అనగా మా సేవలో ప్రతి యోధుడును మా ఏలినవాడును చెప్పినట్లు యెహోవా సన్నిధిన యుద్ధము చేయుటకు యొర్దాను అవతలికి వచ్చేద్దామనిరి. 28th verse. కాబట్టి మోషే వారిని గూర్చి యాజకుడైన ఎలియాజరుకును, నూను కుమారుడైన యెహోషువకును, ఇశ్రాయేలీయు గోత్రములో పితరుల కుటుంబములు ప్రధానులను ఆజ్ఞాపించిన వారితో ఇట్లనెను, గాదీయులను, రూబేనీయులను అందరూ యెహోవా సన్నిధిని యుద్ధములకు సిద్ధపడి మీతో కూడా యొర్దాను అవతలికి వెళ్ళిన ఎడల ఆ దేశము మీ చేత జయింపబడిన తర్వాత మీరు గీలాదు దేశంలోకి వారిని స్వాస్థ్యముగా ఇయ్యవలెను. అయితే వారు మీతో కలిసి యోధులైన అవలికి వెళ్ళని ఎడల వారు కానాను దేశమందే మీ మధ్య స్వాస్థ్యములను పొందుదురనగా గాదీయులను, రూబేనీయులను యెహోవా నీ దాసులమైన మాతో చెప్పినట్లే చేసేదము. మేము యెహోవా సన్నిధిని యుద్ధ సన్నద్ధులమై నది దాటి కానాను దేశంలోనికి వెళ్ళేదము. అప్పుడు యొర్దాను యువతల మేము స్వాస్థ్యము పొందేదమని ఉత్తరమిచ్చిరి. అప్పుడు మోషే వారికి అనగా గాదీయులకును, రూబేనీయులకును, యోసేపు కుమారుడైన మనష్షే అర్ధగోత్రపు వారికిని, అమోరీయులకును, రాజైన సీహోను రాజ్యమును, బాషాను రాజైన రాజ్యమును, దాని ప్రాంతపు పురములతో ఆ దేశము చుట్టూ నుండు ఆ దేశపు పురములను ఇచ్చెను. గాదీయులు దీబోను, అతారోతు, అరోయేరు, అత్రోతు, షోహాను, యాజేరు, ఇగ్బేహు, బెత్నిమ్రా, బెథారాను అను ప్రాకారము గల పురములను, మందలను, దొడ్లను కట్టుకునిరి. రూబేనీయులు మారుపేరు పొందిన హెష్బోను, ఎలాలే, కిర్యాతాయము, నేబో, బయల్మయు, షిబ్మా అను పురములలో కట్టి తాము కట్టిన ఆ పురములను వేరు పేర్లు పెట్టిరి. మనష్షే కుమారుడైన మకీరయేలు గీలాదు మీదకి పోయి దానిని పట్టుకుని దానిలోనున్న అమోరీయులను వెళ్ళగొట్టిరి. మోషే మనష్షే కుమారుడైన మాకీరుకు గీలాదునిచ్చెను. అతడు అక్కడ నివసించి మనష్షే కుమారుడైన యాయీరుకు వెళ్ళి వారి పల్లెలను పట్టుకుని వాటికి యాయీరు పల్లెలని పేరు పెట్టెను. నోబాహు వెళ్ళి కేనాతను దాని గ్రామములను పట్టుకుని దానికి నోబాహు అని తన పేరు పెట్టెను. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Numbers 33. Here are the stages in the journey of the Israelites when they came out of Egypt by divisions under the leadership of Moses and Aaron. At the Lord's command, Moses recorded the stages in their journey. This is their journey by stages. The Israelites set out from Ramses on the 15th day of the first month, the day after the Passover. They marched out defiantly in full view of all the Egyptians, who were burying all their firstborn, whom the Lord had struck down among them. For the Lord had brought judgment on their gods. The Israelites left Ramses and camped at Succoth. They left Succoth and camped at Etham, on the edge of the desert. They left Etham, turned back to Pi-hahiroth, to the east of the Baal Zephon, and camped near Migdol. They left Pi-hahiroth and passed through the sea into the desert, and when they had traveled from 3 days in the desert of Etham, they camped at Marah. They left Marah and went to Elim, where there were 12 springs and 70 palm trees, and they camped there. They left Elim and camped by the Red Sea. They left the Red Sea and camped in the desert of Sin. They left the desert of Sin and camped at Dovka. They left Dovka and camped at Alush. They left Alush and camped at Rephidim, where there was no water for the people to drink. They left Rephidim and camped in the desert of Sinai. They left the desert of Sinai and camped at Kibroth Hatava. They left Kibroth Hatava and camped at Hazeroth. They left Hazeroth and camped at Ritamah. They left Ritamah and camped at Rimmon Perez. They left Rimmon Perez and camped at Libnah. They left Libnah and camped at Risah. They left Risah and camped at Kehillatah. They left Kehillatah and camped at Mount Shepher. They left Mount Shepher and camped at Haradah. They left Haradah and camped at Makhihiloth. They left Makhihiloth and camped at Tahath. They left Tahath and camped at Terah. They left Terah and camped at Mitkah. They left Mitkah and camped at Hashmonah. They left Hashmonah and camped at Mosirotoh. They left Mosirotoh and camped at Bene Zakan. They left Bene Zakan and camped at Hor Hagidagat. They left Hor Hagidagat and camped at Jotbathan. They left Jotbatah and camped at Abronah. They left Abronah and camped at Ezion Geber. They left Ezion Geber and camped at Kadesh in the desert of Zin. They left Kadesh and camped at Mount Hor on the border of Edom. At the Lord's command, Aaron, the priest, went up Mount Hor, where he died on the first day of the first month of the 40th year after the Israelites came out of Egypt. Aaron was 123 years old when he died on Mount Hor. The Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in the Negev of Canaan, heard that the Israelites were coming. They left Mount Hor and camped at Zalmonah. They left Zalmonah and camped at Punon. They left Punon and camped at Oboth. They left Oboth and camped at Ai Abarim, on border of Moab. They left Ai Abarim and camped at Dibon Gath. They left Dibon Gath and camped at Almon Diblathaim. They left Alom Diblathim and camped in the mountains of Abarim near Nebo. They left mountains of Abarim and camped on the plains of Moab by the Jordan across from Jericho. There on the plains of Moab, they camped along the Jordan from Beth Jeshimoth to Abel Shittim. On the plains of Moab, by the Jordan across from the Jericho, the Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, when you cross the Jordan into Canaan, drive out all the inhabitants of the land before you. Destroy all their carved images and their cast idols, and demolish all their high places. Take possession of the land and settle in it. For I have given you the land of possess. Distribute the land by lot, according to your clans. To a larger group, give a larger inheritance, and to a smaller group, a smaller one. Whatever falls to them by lot will be theirs. Distribute it according to your ancestral tribes. But if you do not drive out the inhabitants of the land, those you allow to remain will become barbs in your eyes and thorns in your sides. They will give you trouble in the land where you will live, and then I will do to you what I plan to do to them." Numbers 34. The Lord said to Moses, "Command the Israelites and say to them, when you enter Canaan, the land that will be allotted to you as an inheritance is to have these boundaries. Your southern side will include some of the desert of Zin along the border of Edom. Your southern boundary will start in the east from the southern end of the Dead Sea, cross south of Scorpion Pass, continue on to Zin, and go south of Kadesh Barnea. Then it will go to Hazar Adar and over to Azmon, where it will turn, join the Wadi of Egypt, and end at the Mediterranean Sea. Your western boundary will be the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. This will be your boundary on the west. For your northern boundary, run a line from the Mediterranean Sea to Mount Hor, and from Mount Hor to Lebo Hamath. Then the boundary will go to Zedad, continue to Zephron, and end at Hazar Enan. This will be your boundary on the north. For your eastern boundary, run a line from Hazar Enan to Shephem. The boundary will go down from Shifam to Riblah on the east side of Ain and continue along the slopes east of the Sea of Galilee. Then the boundary will go down along the Jordan and end at the Dead Sea. This will be your land with its boundaries on every side. Moses commanded the Israelites, "Assign this land by the lot as an inheritance." The Lord has ordered that it be given to the 9.5 tribes, because the families of the tribe of Reuben, the tribe of Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh have received their inheritance. These 2.5 tribes have received their inheritance east of the Jordan, across from Jericho toward the sunrise. The Lord said to Moses, "These are the names of the men who are to assign the land for you as an inheritance: Eleazar the priest and Joshua son of Nun, and appointed one leader from each tribe to help assign the land. These are their names: Caleb son of Zephunah from the tribe of Judah, Shemuel son of Ammihud from the tribe of Simeon, Elidad son of Kislon from the tribe of Benjamin, Buki son of Jogli, the leader from the tribe of Dan, Haniel son of Ephod, the leader from the tribe of Manasseh son of Joseph, Kemuel son of Shephathan, the leader from the tribe of Ephraim son of Joseph, Elizaphan son of Parnak, the leader from the tribe of Zebulun, Paltiel son of Azan, the leader from the tribe of Ishkar, Ahihud son of Shilomi, the leader from the tribe of Asher, Padehil son of Ammihud, the leader from the tribe of Naphtali. These are the men the Lord commanded to assign the inheritance to the Israelites in the land of Canaan.
Numbers chapter 35. On the plains of Moab, by the Jordan across from Jericho, the Lord said to Moses, command the Israelites to give the Levites towns to live in from inheritance of the Israelites will possess, and give them pasture lands around the towns. Then they will have towns to live in the pasture lands for their cattle, flocks, and all of their livestock. The pasture lands around the towns that you give the Levites will extend out of 1500 feet from the town wall. Outside the town wall measures 3000 feet on the east side, 3000 on the south side, 3000 on the west, and 3000 on the north. With the town in the center, they will have the area as pasture land for their towns. 6 of towns you give the Levites will be cities of refuge, to which a person who had killed someone may flee. In addition, give them 42 other towns. In all, you must give the Levites 48 towns, together with their pasture lands. The towns you give the Levites from the land the Israelites possess are to be given in proportion to the inheritance of each tribe. Take many towns from the tribe that has many, but few from one that has a few. Then the Lord said to Moses, speak to the Israelites and say to them, when you cross the Jordan into Canaan, select some towns to be your cities of refuge, to which a person who has killed someone accidentally may flee. They will be places for refuge from the avenger, so that a person accused of murder may not die before he stands trial before the assembly. These 6 stones you give will be your cities of refuge. Give 3 on this side of Jordan and the 3 in Canaan as cities of refuge. These 6 stones will be places of refuge for Israelites, aliens, and any other people living among them, so that anyone who has killed another accidentally can flee there. If a man strikes someone with an iron object so that he dies, he is a murderer. The murderer shall be put to death. Or if anyone has a stone in his hand that could kill, and he strikes someone so that he dies, he is a murderer, the murderer shall be put to death. Or if anyone has a wooden object in his hand that could kill, and he hits someone so that he dies, he is a murderer. The murderer shall be put to death. The avenger of blood shall put to the murderer to death. When he meets him, he shall put him to death. If anyone with malice aforethought shows another or throws something at him intentionally so that he dies, or if he hostility he hits him with his fist so that he dies, that a person shall be put to death. He is a murderer. The avenger of a blood shall put to the murderer to death when he meets him. But if we without hostility someone suddenly shows another or throws something at him unintentionally, or without seeing him drops a stone on him that could kill him, and he dies, then since he was not his enemy and he did not intend to harm him, the assembly must judge between him and the avenger of blood according to these regulations. The assembly must be protect the one accused of murder from the avenger of blood and send him back to the city of refuge to which he fled. He must stay there until the death of the high priest who was anointed with the holy oil. But if the accused ever goes outside the limits of the city refuge to which he has fled, and the avenger of blood finds him outside the city, the avenger of blood may kill the accused without being guilty of a murder. The accused must stay in his city of refuge until the death of high priest. Only after the death of the high priest may he return to his own property. These are to be legal requirements for you throughout the generations to come whenever you live. Anyone who kills a person is to put to death as a murderer only on the testimony of witnesses. But no one is to be put to death on the testimony of only one witness. Do not accept a ransom for the life of a murderer who deserves to die. He must surely put to death. Do not accept a ransom from anyone who has fled to city of refuge and allow him go back to live on his own land before the death of the high priest. Do not pollute the land where you are. Bloodshed pollutes the land, and atonement cannot be made for the land on which blood has been shed except by the blood of the one who shed it. Do not defile the land where you live and where I dwell, for I, the Lord, dwell among the Israelites. Numbers chapter 36. The family heads of the clan of Gilad, sons of Maki, and the sons of Manasseh, who were from the clans of descendants of Joseph, came and spoke before Moses and leaders, the heads of the Israelite families. They said, when the Lord commanded my Lord to give the land as an inheritance to the Israelites by lot, he ordered you to give the inheritance of your brother Zelophehad to his daughters. Now, suppose they marry men from other Israelite tribes, then their inheritance will be taken from our ancestral inheritance and added to that of the tribes they marry into. And so part of the inheritance allotted to us will be taken away. When the year of Jubilee for the Israelites comes, their inheritance will be added to that of the tribe into which they marry, and their property will be taken from the tribal inheritance of our forefathers. Then the Lord's command Moses gave this order to the Israelites. What the tribes of descendants of the Joseph is saying is right. This is what the Lord commanded Zelophehad's daughters. They may marry anyone they please as long as they marry within the tribal clan of their father. No inheritance in Israel is to pass from the tribe to tribe. For every Israelite shall keep their tribal land inherited from his forefathers. Every daughter who inherits land in any Israelite tribe must marry someone in her father's tribal clan, so that every Israelite will possess the inheritance of his fathers. No inheritance may pass from tribe to tribe, for each Israelite tribe is to keep the land it inherits. So Zelophehad's daughters did as the Lord commanded Moses. Zelophehad's daughters Mahalla, Tiras, Hoglah, Milcah, and Noah married their cousins on their father's side. They married within the clans of the descendants of Manasseh, son of Joseph, and their inheritance remained in their father's clan and tribe. These are the commands and the regulations of the Lord gave through Moses to the Israelites on the plains of Moab by the Jordan across from Jericho. Thank you.